The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
This is National Beer Lovers Day.
Me love beer.
A man is in a bar drinking. He gets so drunk that he pukes all over his shirt. The bartender says, don't worry about it. Look, here's what you do. You take a $10 bill and put it in your shirt pocket. Then you go home to your wife, say, some other guy got drunk and he puked on your shirt. And he said, I'm sorry, here's $10 to have it cleaned. And he goes back to his wife and he goes, a guy puked on my shirt and gave me this $10 here to have it cleaned. And the wife looks and she goes, he gave you $20. And he goes, oh, I forgot to tell you, he also in my pants.
Why don't you both have a nice cold beer?
We got beer!
It's showtime.
Well, how about that? National Beer Lovers Day, huh? I can see myself going along with that.
There's a couple of fans in this building,
Yeah,
for sure.
I could see myself celebrating.
Why the hell not? Not beer snobs, but beer lovers, okay? Let's keep the beer snobs away from this holiday.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Big difference.
Absolutely. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Thursday morning and all that, don't you know?
I'm sorry.
Well,
I was just
what
thinking
happened?
about how you like domestic beer. Wow. You've never had a beer.
Yeah.
You've never had it flavored with rhino horn? You've never had the notes of elephant tusk in there?
Maple, butterscotch, all
Bacon,
that, whatever. Bacon infused with this, that. No.
I've never
even
Warm
had
tortilla.
Huh?
Yum. Lunch is served at Holiday. Try one today.
Is Ashley working on a commercial?
Someone go yell at Ashley, her stupid... Why are you working on a commercial while we're on the air? Who is that?
No, I'm not. What?
I'm so confused right now.
Waffle, was that you or her?
No, that was not me.
I'm sorry. I'm not good at figuring all this stuff out, but I think I finally got it figured out.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Good.
yes. Sorry about that.
Tell us more about that warm tortilla.
I thought you were saying there was a tortilla beer.
Yeah, I was too.
There probably is.
If there's ever a time to get things figured out, it's 3 minutes into a show.
I
not
thought so,
not
too.
before the show.
I can't hear it. Well, I can't really tell what's going to happen until we're on air.
Okay.
I'm not good at that stuff.
All right.
Sorry. Sorry. I tried my best.
What the hell were we talking? What were we talking about?
We were making fun of all the crazy beers that are out there. I don't really know. I don't know if I'd call him a beer snob, but there's a guy I know who likes to try all that stuff. He doesn't put down people who don't explore the different beers. I'm the worst at it because I've never had anything like that. But remember when we first teamed up with Liftbridge?
Yes.
And we felt like we got to grow a beard. These guys all had beards. We're the outliers here.
Long, thick beards.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they had a bunch of different beers we could choose. Which one do you want to be Brotherhood beer? And we said, here's some things we like. You know, this is what we think. And then obviously they're the experts. And I liked every single thing they had. And people are like, okay, come on, dude. Can you make a decision? But they were all good to me. They all tasted like beer.
I'm not terribly picky.
And knowing you, Josh, I bet in that situation, you were worried about hurting their feelings by saying maybe you didn't like one of the particular ones they offered.
Well, that's true. That would have been the case, but I really did like all of them. And I didn't know how to talk beer. And they're like, what do you like about this one? I'm like, the bubbles feel different.
It's cold.
I had no clue what to say.
I also thought that was the first time I ever sat down and sampled, you know, a variety of different styles of beers.
I've never done that at all. Well, outside of a box of jelly beans or chocolates, I've never sampled that stuff either. Mixed nuts.
It was all new to me as well, so I expected that I would be able to taste a beer and say, oh, I taste this and I taste that, and then move on to the next one and say, well, in this particular case, I taste this and that. No, I couldn't. I was just as lost as you were, and I wasn't overly picky about it. I think they were disappointed in both of us that we weren't more what's the word I'm looking for? More disciplined in our decision making. So yeah, a lot of beer tastes good to me.
Me too. Although I did find out that when we tried a different variety, for lack of a better term, I found out I didn't like that kind. I'm not an IPA guy, I've discovered.
It has to be pretty over the top for me to say, Jesus, get this away from me. It has to be pretty different and pretty over the top for me to, be that. So
I thought just by looks I wasn't going to like Guinness, but I enjoy Guinness.
Oh, wow. Guinness is really good.
I thought I was going to be drinking rye bread or something, and it wasn't like that.
A lot of people, that's for sure, because of how dark and heavy it is.
Not my style at all.
I went to a brewery not too long ago, and I don't really drink that different kind of beer either, and I ordered 2 beers right off the bat. I don't know. I picked one that had high ABV, and I thought, okay, good. And I got rimmed for my choices. I guess I picked complete opposite choices.
Now wait a second. How drunk were you? I've never heard that. You just said you got rimmed for your choices.
That doesn't sound so bad to me.
Do people not use that? I use that all the time. I don't even know if I use it correctly.
Do you know what rimming is?
You are not using it correctly.
No, you are not.
Wapple, tell her that she's not using that correctly.
You are not using that correctly.
Oh, that reminds me of something.
that is not right.
I got rimmed last night. You guys wouldn't believe. Quite the rimming. Everybody in the bar rimmed me.
Every
time.
time.
I thought that was a bad thing. I thought people didn't want that.
I don't want it, personally.
Yeah, see,
every time I bring you guys paper, I get a good rimming.
You sure do.
That was cute, Ashley.
Thank you. I try.
That reminds me of my dad has never had a grasp on the English language, and I'm nervous about even telling you this story.
Oh, I've got a bad one too, so I'm wondering how this will compare.
Well, it's.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you go first. Okay. I have to ask you a question. I'm going to write you a note because I don't know. Okay. I don't yet to see if it's okay. You go ahead first. If we're on the topic of, maybe some phrasing that we don't exactly know what the meaning is. Go right ahead, Josh.
We were at a child's birthday party, and I'm going to guess the kid was maybe 3.
Oh, I like this one, yeah.
And my mom was trying to be supportive as the kid is, he's blowing up a balloon, and he gets done, and she's like, oh, wow, what a nice blow job. In front of, so everybody starts laughing, and my mom was looking around like, what? I don't understand what's going on, and then realized what she had said. She turned redder than the balloon and just walked out and had an IPA or whatever she did. Probably a quarter of a Bartles and James.
That's funny because I had a soccer coach growing up all through middle school, like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And his phrase for when you go in and give, sub somebody out, you give them a rest. He'd say, hey, Dana, go in there and give him a blow.
Right.
We got to a point where we'd be like, what are you instructing me to do here, Coach?
That's weird of him to do.
You'll still hear that when watching a football, basketball, hockey game. You'll still hear that now and again from the older characters involved, older announcers.
So he wasn't alone in that.
Oh, no, I've heard football announcers say that. Definitely.
No, give that guy a blow.
Yeah, he needs a blow.
Yeah.
Which in their world, that means replace that individual to give him a rest.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh has approved my story ever since Ashley claimed she was rimmed.
Do you know the sexual act, Ashley? Are you even aware?
Yes, I'm aware.
She watches porno. She knows what.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid. My old man almost made me vomit about a decade ago, and he still makes this friggin' mistake, even though I was so passionate in attempting to correct him. And you'll understand why I was so passionate in just a minute. My dad and my mom, they argue a lot, and we were on a fishing trip up north about 10 years ago, and we had just gotten to the fishing shack, and we got into a conversation about my dad and mom arguing all the time. And my dad wanted to tell me an example of what he did to get in trouble with my mother. And he says this to me, and a few others in the fishing shack. Boy, your mom really ate my ass out last night. And I said, time out.
What, Dad?
Time out. Please don't ever say that ever again, number one. And I said, Dad, I think what you mean is your mom really chewed me out last night. And he said, yeah, that's what I said. And I said, no, that is not what you said. What you said was repulsive. And again, I beg you never to say that out loud again. He just, wrong phrasing.
Yeah, it happens.
But he still makes that mistake. Every couple of times I make a trip up there to see my folks, he'll tell me some story of my mother and he getting into a fight, and he'll still say, ate my ass. No, that's not what's happening.
That's cute.
God help us.
I wonder if it's a thing where, and this is not me kink shaming at all. I'm surprised that act exists, personally. I would have no interest in being on either end of that. But maybe that your dad just didn't think, well, nobody would do that. That's not...
I'm 100% sure that's part of the reason why he was lost on why that phrasing would be unacceptable. He has no idea that people do that.
Yeah, see, I was at a much older age when I'm like, wait a minute, I thought that was a joke. People do that?
No idea.
I've got a friend that does it. Did you know that? I don't know what happened to my voice.
What happened to you?
Yeah, I have a friend who does that.
Oh, yeah.
Wapple's got like 4% of his friends that do that.
4%, Wap.
Yeah, Josh, you have a friend that does it. You've even got a coworker that does it.
No way. There's no way that happens.
Who's the...
The coworker doesn't do the more common one.
What? Oh, man.
Boy, did I get my balls drained last night. Woo, you wouldn't believe how mad she was.
What is that? All right.
Ashley.
Oh,
nobody looks at you. Were we the first people that looked at you funny about that?
Did you try to say reamed, but you said rimmed?
That's got to be reamed.
So
or ribbing?
I think that's why no one's ever corrected me, is because they think I'm saying ream. But I've definitely always just said rimmed, and no one has ever corrected me.
It's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Me too.
Maybe
know.
I subconsciously know it's wrong.
Well, what's that deal when you're trying to work out and you walk on it? What is that?
Work out and you
You
walk?
walk on it.
Oh,
it's like a stationary...
A treadmill?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you used to say treadmill.
Treadmill? I know. I'm proud of myself.
They've corrected it?
Yeah.
What is the deal? National Beer Lovers Day. And we've got a big beer drinker coming into the building a little later on this morning. Janel Klein will be stopping by if her hangover allows her to.
Oh, those Faribault girls, they know how to do it.
Yeah,
They
she
sure
can
do.
dump them. She can dump canned beer. I mean, Faribault, Minnesota, born and raised, like somebody said already. In Faribault, the school science fair every year is just a collection of 20 to 25 kids building beer pyramids. That's all. So Janel Klein is perfect that she's going to be here.
I'm excited to talk to her. She figure out what she's been up to, because she got sent off to the hurricane situations. Of course.
Yeah, I'd like to know, too. She loves it.
She's
such
not
a
going to want to
huge
talk
fan.
about it because she hates her job.
Yeah.
I bet she won't want to talk about the hurricane footage or whatever she did at all. She won't want to.
Standing there in knee-deep water. Like, oh, I'm here. It's raining.
But Jungle Jane will be here. Let's see. Let's find out what you make of this on National Beer Lovers Day. Somebody or another, who was this, Dana, made up a list of the best TV drunks of all time?
That was Ranker.
Ranker. Mm-hmm. The best TV drunks of all time. Who comes to mind? One example from each of you.
Homer Simpson, certainly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Norm from Cheers.
All right.
Peter Griffin.
All
Peter
right.
Griffin, there's another.
I have a top 15, and I'm not familiar with all of them. Number 15, and I have vague memories of this, but he was hammered. I mean, I haven't watched the Andy Griffith Show in a long time, but when I did as a child, there was no kidding around. Otis was always hammered.
Oh, yeah.
He was hammered every day, and it was all day.
And he had the best drunk face.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
He was plowed out of his mind, not buzzed, absolutely intoxicated day in, day out. Otis Campbell from the Andy Griffith. Maybe he deserves to be higher on this list now that I'm remembering a little more about Otis.
Yeah.
He couldn't cross the street on his own.
No, he could not.
There's no way he lived to be 55 years old. Otis must have died horribly young. 14 is old Clifford Clavin from Cheers.
Sure.
He always seemed to keep himself together, though.
Yeah,
you know
he
what I
did.
mean? He sure drank a lot of beer, but we're talking TV drunks, not TV drinkers.
Yeah, I agree. That I wouldn't have put that one on the list.
Neither Norm or Cliff really ever appeared all that just sauced. You know, they were sipping beers, but they were never just, falling over, stumbling, Homer Simpson drunk.
Number 13, never saw it. And that is the gang on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
They can put away some beers.
Dude,
Good one.
I get rimmed a lot on that one. I know I need to watch it. I get my stepson. He'll give me a good rimming about this because he loves the show and he knows I'd love it. I just haven't started it yet.
Yeah, you would love it.
I'm
I'll
just
never watch it.
intimidated because there's 14 or more seasons. There's so many of
It's
them.
never going to happen.
They're such world-class drunks, they invented something called Riot Juice.
Riot Juice. Did they have a song?
They might have, yeah.
I'm making that up. I have no idea.
They also made rum ham.
Oh, the rum ham.
Where
You could eat a ham because it was soaked in rum, so you'd get drunk.
Danny DeVito just floating out there on a raft eating the rum ham.
Number 12 is Charlie Harper, which is Charlie Sheen's character from 2.5 Men's.
Never saw it.
Yeah, he drinks a lot.
Totally.
He's drunk a lot. It's a fun show. It's real simple. It's you see a lot of the jokes approaching, but still, it's. I've mentioned before. I like the dynamic is a fancy word, I guess, between John Cryer and Charlie Sheen. I think they're very funny together, and the kid's funny too. Number 11, never saw it. Frank Gallagher from something called Shameless.
So
yeah, he's a drunk.
I haven't seen that show either, but when you watch previews of it or something, he does appear to be drunk quite a bit.
He is, and it is a depressing show.
Is that right?
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, very sad.
Like
sometimes.
2.5, not 2.5, like Last Man Standing depressing?
No, it's just Frank Gallagher gets in so many situations because he's a drunk, and the family suffers because of it.
Number 10 is never saw it, a lady named Karen Walker from a show called Will Plus Grace.
Oh, she's awesome. So funny.
My mother used to love that, used to watch that show and talk about that show. I think I got the right joint, Will and Grace. Wasn't it big in the mid-90s?
Yeah, and then it made a comeback. Yeah, Jack and Karen on that show made that show.
9, Al Bundy from Married with Children. He liked to put away the Steve Weisers.
He sure did.
No kidding.
He and the other fellas from No Ma'am, they'd go down to the Jiggle. What did they call the strip joint in town again? The nudie bar. They just simply called it the nudie bar. That's right. Al Bundy. He could put them away. I have no idea how in the world Peter Griffin is only the 8th best TV drunk of all time. Hasn't he been involved in multiple drunk driving episodes?
Yes.
I mean,
And remember he got drunk when he took his driver's license photo because he's drunk so often while driving?
Yeah, I mean, he got drunk a lot in that program. Peter Griffin, he's a terrible drunk.
Then he worked at a brewery, and then he even got drunk on the job.
Yeah, and he'd crash the forklift, and he ended up in a spaceship in a fight with a chicken. I mean, I don't know how Peter Griffin is only number 8 on this list because he's a horrible drunk. This has been texted in to me as our listeners, the brother plus sisterhood, are texting in their favorite TV drunks. I just saw this one scroll by on my text machine. Never saw it. A character named Jim Leahy from the Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, yeah, he's always hammered.
Yeah, Medical Device Jesus specifically, he texted me and said he's the all-time greatest on-screen drunk, plays it perfectly, but he was sober as a bone in real life.
Oh, really?
That's always impressive to me, people who could be sober and play drunks that well.
I could never do that.
Well, the greatest of all time was Dudley Moore.
Oh, he was incredible.
Anyone I name on this list could not carry Dudley Moore's friggin' jock when it came to portraying a hilarious drunk. I'll say it for the millionth time. If you have not seen Arthur starring Dudley Moore, you've just done it all wrong. Your entire life, you've done it wrong. That movie is funny every single time, and it's mostly thanks to Dudley Moore's brilliance in that character. This is great. I mean, all the inside information, the valuable information that our listeners are able to provide to us via this text machine setup. Looks like Jesus texted in to say, back to Married with Children. yes, they referred to the topless bar in town as the nudie bar, but once you got inside, there was a room called the Jiggly Room. That's great. I love when he and Jefferson were hanging out. They had such a good time. They never had much for money between the two of them, but they had a good time at the... Number 6 is Norm Peterson from Cheers. Of course, Norm drank a lot of beer, but like we were saying, he never got out of control. 5 is Barney Gumble from The Simpsons.
Oh, that's a great one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely the drunkest on the show. Not top of mind, obviously, but he is the drunkest.
Number 4 is a character named Sterling Archer from the show Archer. Never saw it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
He's definitely drunk. And then his mom can also go in there, too.
His mom drinks?
Yeah, she was always
I can
drunk.
relate to that.
Who was it? It was Jessica Walters?
I never saw it, Wapple. You might be on your own here.
Yeah, I think Jessica Walters played her.
All right.
Passed away.
Oh, no. Top TV drunks of all time. No, I never saw it. Number 3 is Bender from Futurama.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep. That was a great one.
Number 2, oh, sure, I saw a few of these, and this guy would put them away. Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The little
that's
guy.
A really good one. Boy, he was good.
He stayed drunk for the first 10, 12 episodes, and he kind of straightened out a little bit when he got a job.
Yep.
They gave him a job as the king's wingman or whatever the hell he was.
Hand.
The what?
The hand.
He was the hand?
He was.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You're like the king's right-hand man.
The assistant?
You're the hand.
That's right, the hand of the king.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm sorry I blew up. Number 1 is Homer Simpson on the list of best TV drink. Yeah, he could go through a case of beer before you could say Jack Robinson.
Yeah, he had some duffs in his day. He also worked a side job as a home brewer when beer got banned in Springfield. He was brewing his own. It's the beer banister, I believe it was called.
Oh, I'll tell you. And you guys know this as well as I do. There's nothing worse than someone who brews their own beer. There's almost no worse human being on earth than the guy who sits there for months and brews his own beer, and he brings it out at a party.
He does.
He brings it out. No. You brought your own beer, your cooler's full of domestic beer and the stuff you bought at the liquor store. Don't need it. You don't need it. Put it back in your car. I brewed my own. Shut it and put it away.
Yes, please let me drink your bathtub beer that you brewed. I'm very excited for this.
You made me something in a bathtub. It better be meth. That's what I want.
Right. When we were young guys, 2 of my buddies, every night they talked about how they were brewing their own beer, and you just better hang on to something by the time they're done with brewing hey, how's it coming? I mean, well, people didn't even ask them how it was coming along.
Oh, they would let you know.
They forced that information on us. 4 months, and they finally busted out their swill at a party, and it was dog piss.
Oh, no.
And I could not wait to tell them that it was dog piss.
And between all the equipment and the ingredients, they probably spent like $250 on what ended up being a crappy 6-pack of beer that they brewed themselves.
And they faked enjoyment in drinking it. Okay, that's a decent list, what we just went through from Ranker, best TV drunks of all time. I don't exactly agree with where they went next, and they went with the 7 top beer movies. Even that title kind of, what do you mean a beer movie? Just a movie where beer makes an appearance? I don't know, but let me throw this at you. It's only 7 deep. The 7 top beer movies, whatever that means. Number 7, I think I saw 10 minutes of this and it was garbage, despite featuring Ralph Macchio, who's one of my favorites of all time. Number 7 is a movie called Beer League.
I had to look that up. I'd never heard of it.
I saw that movie.
Again, I saw 10 minutes of it, and it was awful.
Artie Lang, comedian, he's the star in it. It's got Ralph Macchio in it. They're a New Jersey Beer League softball team, and, drunk.
Please tell me you agree that it was awful.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Oh, God.
No, it wasn't very good.
Number 6 is just a movie called Beer from 1985. Never heard of it. Although I did look it up, and David Alan Grier is in there, so I bet it has a few funny moments, because that guy's brilliant.
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
Number 5, never saw it, Young Einstein, 1988.
Oh, I saw it. Was that with Yahoo Serious?
Yeah. Yep. I did enjoy that one as a kid. I'm sure it's terrible, but
I barely remember it.
When you're a kid and you get shown a movie, it's on VHS, you just think it's great, but I'm sure it's dog crap.
Yeah, it was that Australian comedian, Yahoo Serious, that started.
Number 4 should be number 1. the Beer Fest is hilarious, and all they do is drink. And I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How can you? If we're talking about beer drinking in a movie, how can anything top Beer Fest?
I thought number 1 should be at number 1.
See, I mean, I'm a big Bob, and okay, we'll get there. Number 3 is something called Drinking Buddies from 20 Plus 13. Never heard of it.
Oh, yeah, that's a sitcom. It's all right.
Oh, it's a sitcom, not a movie.
No, it's a movie, actually.
Oh, whatever it is. Then.
You're thinking of Bosom Buddies with Tom Hanks.
I like that show.
I didn't like it. It was pretty dumb.
What did you see that was dumb?
Drinking Buddies.
Okay. I never even heard of that one. Number 2 is one of my favorite movies, but I don't think it belongs on this list at all. And that's Smokey and the Bandit.
Huh?
Yeah, I didn't fully understand why that would be on.
Sure, they're hauling beer,
Yeah,
but
it's a stretch.
does anyone even drink a beer in that movie aside from the bar scene where Snowman gets his ass kicked by the biker gang?
Yeah, not that it's been years, but not that I can really
stupid.
recall.
Smokey and the Bandit is one of the greatest films ever created. It should not have anything to do with the list of beer movies. And number 1 is Strange Brew. What Josh loves, number 1. And don't get me wrong, I followed Bob and Doug McKenzie thoroughly as a child, way before they made a movie. And I like Strange Brew. But I don't think it should be higher. It should be way higher than Smokey and the Bandit, whatever, drinking. But I don't think it's better than Beer Fest, but that's...
I never even heard of it before.
You never
Strange
heard of
Brew?
what?
Well,
No.
shoot, you weren't even born when it came out. It came out in 83.
Yeah.
Strange Brew and then Beer Fest. Those would have been the 2 that I put in the top 2 there.
Definitely.
And some of you are going to say, well, you know, you're just a Slapshot fan. You're going to want to put Slapshot on every list. And I understand why you might say that. But they drink a lot of friggin' beer in Slapshot.
Sure do.
They do.
A lot of beer.
Yes, they do.
Remember when they get on the bus to go to Hyannisport and they say, who the hell, where'd all these coolers of beer come from? The owner. You know the guy name? They're always drinking beer on the bus and playing cards all night. They got a hockey game in 2 hours and they're playing cards, drinking beer. On National Beer Lovers Day, so there you go.
Anybody here planning on celebrating?
Oh, I'll have a few beers tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's our second to last work day of the week.
Tomorrow's our Friday.
Yeah,
we put in a long shift this week. I think we all deserve a beer.
You know, I'm always going to throw a couple 3 back, right, Cubby?
Yeah, you drink, but nothing. You're not going to have an extra one or a
I don't think so. No.
2 with the beer helmet or anything. I have a beer helmet.
That's right, you do.
Which is strange for a guy that doesn't really drink, but I do have a beer helmet.
And isn't it your son's?
Yeah, so for my son's 7th birthday, for whatever reason, he wanted a beer helmet.
Cute.
That was what he wanted and my brother was nice enough to buy him a beer helmet.
I'll tell you what, when the time comes, how old is he now?
Again, I mentioned this yesterday. It's a better question for his mother.
11?
I think he's 11.
Give it a couple years, and I'll have my bro Big Phil show him how to use a beer helmet proper.
Oh, is he pretty good at it?
The best it's ever been. Big Phil, when we were young, he could slam a couple of cans of beer in that beer helmet. You'd throw the straws in his yap, and I'm not exaggerating. It was whip, and you're grabbing 2 fresh beers. 2 draws, and it's over. 2 breaths. And they're gone. And you're loading the fresh couple of beers up there. The guy was unbelievable. I could not believe how fast some of my friends, when we were young, how fast they could slam beer, you know, whatever they call. I don't know the nicknames for it. When you stab the bottom of the can with a
shotgunning,
whatever. You name your various.
I don't know how
types
people
of,
do that.
I didn't. I couldn't believe it.
Like sometimes I can't even really do a shot very well. Sometimes I need 2 sips. And boy, do I get rimmed for that.
Not to be weird or anything, Josh, but the way that it helps is if you stick your tongue out a little because it relaxes your throat. So
oh,
that's
really?
How
you perverts just want to see that.
I know.
We got a text here saying that this person's band is called Beer Helmet. That's pretty cool.
That's a great friggin'. My brother and Big Phil, if we had video of how they could operate in 1989, you wouldn't believe how fast they could just beep, gone. And I tried, but I was never able to come close to that.
It's the cold for me that gets me.
Oh yeah, that can
Gosh.
That can make it more difficult. So Dana, you brought up my son, and I always get nervous telling kid stories like people might not care. But I was sharing this with Nick off the air. Last night I asked my son, "Hey, can you grab me a Gatorade? You pick, doesn't matter, whichever one." And so he ends up bringing me a lemon Gatorade, right? And he had made a custom label for it that just said, not piss. And then, and then he drew a penis on it.
He drew a penis on it?
He did. And thank God it wasn't urine. It was just Gatorade.
It's so funny.
Well, I was wondering what took him so long. I'm shriveling over here. What's going on with this?
Here's your plastic bottle of not piss with a penis mascot on the side of the bottle. Hey, somebody write this date down.
His own.
What is this?
September 7th.
Someone write down September 7th. I say next year on National Beer Lovers Day, we have Beer Helmet play live in studio.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be great.
That is a cool name. That's a name if you're walking by and you saw that on a marquee, you'd be like, yeah, I want to go check those guys out.
I mean, if they don't suck. Maybe Beer Helmet can send us some audio of their sound, of their vibe. If they suck, we'll never bring this up again. But if they're any good, maybe we'll have them in studio to play live, and Josh can sit on guitar, and I'll play some drums.
That'd be fun.
Josh can play some saxophone. We got to get out of here and take a break. Like I mentioned, Janel Klein will be here. We'll be back in a couple minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, Minnesota. CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.
Afford Anything talks about how to avoid common pitfalls, how to refine your mental models, and how to think about how to think.
In the world of money and investing, it can be easy to be dogmatic about your beliefs. You're part of the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, or you hate it, you hate it, you hate it. And either you embrace credit cards as a route to getting airline reward, or you follow the Dave Ramsey camp and believe that you shouldn't touch them because if you play with snakes, you might get bit. Afford Anything, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, I got you covered. I got you covered if you want. If you want to make another run at the stupid news, we're going to start with a lady in China who, I don't know, Cubby. She must be half squirrel or rat or opossum, because she stole a cellular telephone from a cellular telephone store by chewing her way through what they call here in the story an anti-theft cord.
A beaver or an otter or something.
Yeah, those are good examples.
Going through those wires.
She gnawed at it with her teeth until the security cord gave way, like she was a camel or a northern elephant seal.
That's not good for your teeth.
A northern elephant seal.
Yeah, a northern elephant seal.
That just comes right off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
Her name is Kiwi. I think that's how a guy says it. Kiwi. And the internet's been talking about Kiwi. Like I said, she walked smooth up into an electronics store, headed straight for the smartphone section. She kind of glanced around the joint to make sure nobody's looking, and then she started tearing at this cord that held a display phone in place. She started tearing at it with her chiclets like an animal. Her cord chewing set off a security alarm, but luckily for Kiwi, the staff at the telephone store, they thought it was a false alarm for some reason. So Kiwi strolled on out of there with her new spit-soaked telephone. The staff there at the joint, they eventually noticed there was a missing phone. They took a look-see at security video, and the cops were on Kiwi's ass.
Chewy
Kiwi. They were on her before she knew what hit her.
That's a new one. Well, at least it was to me. I'd never heard of that.
No. Very innovative.
When the cops asked her what her effing problem was, she said she had lost her phone and she was gonna buy a new one, but she didn't like the prices. Welcome to the adult world, you knucklehead.
They're expensive, that's for sure.
Welcome to grown-up life.
They have so many other ways around of than paying straight up for a phone too. Like most places just let you do payments. It's like $20 a month.
Well, but this is China. Is that, I don't know, maybe they don't do it that way in China.
Yeah, that's true.
And now she's looking at 3 years in prison.
Whoa.
Wow. That's wow.
She'll be chewing on other things. Other things.
Yeah, if she wants a phone in prison, she's going to have to use her butt and smuggle it in, not her mouth.
The only way.
So, I mean, I guess the fact that she had intended to purchase one explains why she didn't just bring wire cutters or something that would be a little easier and not risk getting shocked.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. She could have been electrocuted.
Yeah, it was a charging cord.
Oh, a charging cord. Oh, I thought it was some kind of, maybe you see these at Target where they strap an item down with some kind of a cord.
Yeah, it was like a combo. It was attached.
Oh, so it was plugged into an electrical outlet?
Yeah.
I didn't follow that part. She's lucky she didn't burn her mouth down with that electricity.
Trying to think if there's anything I'd want so bad I would chew through a wire for.
Where you'd bite your way to it.
Yeah, instead of just saving up.
I don't know. I know my teeth look like they could go through some heavy-duty items, but...
How heavy of a gauge do you think you could chew through?
I don't have any confidence in what I still have hanging in my yap, Josh. All of them feel like they're ready to give way at any minute.
Yeah, I don't think I could get through much either.
Yeah, I'm out. I have one of my front teeth are like half fake, and so I don't want to lose that anytime soon.
All my front teeth, my front four, they're all half fake. I knocked them clean out of my mouth in college, and they've had been replaced.
Yeah, I forgot. We've had this conversation.
I've got 3 fake ones.
A bunch of you have falsies going.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm the only one with real teeth.
Well, I have real teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that one.
I don't have any.
I was so shocked with Dana's teeth. I was, wow.
Well, he deep-throated
terrible. I mean,
you're better. Job,
I remember that story. He was, him and his buddy were grab-assing in the street, and he deep-throated a water fountain or something like that.
The fountain outside the McNamara Center in college, it's like an ankle-deep fountain. It's not like we were, having to do high knees to get through this thing, but we were horsing around and just... I went for a tackle and slipped, and just my teeth broke my fall.
Oh, dude, that gives me the chills.
It was awful. And we were walking home with 2 ladies we met, and the lady who I was pairing up with, she didn't take too much interest in me after that.
She wasn't interested.
No.
Wow, she's shallow.
Mm-hmm.
A dude I went to high school with was riding his bicycle faster than a son of a bitch on the sidewalk, and he crashed, and he filleted a brick planter.
Oh.
Well, you ever see those things like on the street?
Absolutely.
Like a big brick planter with a tree in there?
Ouch.
He ate that going full speed off the front end of his bicycle. Yeah, Wapple, you and I, we're all natural.
Yeah.
We're
beautiful.
We're gonna look like old NHL players in a few years. They're just gonna start falling out, and we're not gonna do anything about it.
I'm gonna look like Brent Burns. Giant beard, missing front teeth.
I'm going for the Bobby Clark look, where everything in the cheap seats is gone. Well, hey, here's exactly the type of story that every teenage dude needs to have spread around his school right as the year begins. And unfortunately, it's a true story. A 17-year-old kid in, how do you say it, Sri Lanka. He had to go to the hospital so doctors could pull 8 inches of wire out of his dong. Oh. This is the latest in the never-ending series of stories of weirdo whack-off gimmicks gone wrong.
If I told you the story about myself, it really would have been 3 inches, but I'd certainly say 8 inches. That's how you're supposed to do it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I suppose, the 8 inches part of the story isn't the worst thing in the world.
I'd want to make sure that was included. If somebody just said you had the string up there, I'd want to say, whoa, I'm sorry, 8-inch long wire. Yeah, not anything shorter than that.
Now, that's wire I'm not going to chew from, or chew through. Wire that was just pulled out of a penis. That I can guarantee I'm going to pass. But, yeah, the 8 inches thing is nice for the kid. But his classmates, they're going to ignore that. And for the rest of the for the rest of his run there at Sri Lanka High School, he's the kid who masturbated himself all the way to the hospital.
Yeah. Ugh.
Here's some more information that the rest of the kids at school are never going to let this dude forget. The word is he's developed a fetish for putting electrical wire down his urethra to intensify his orgasms.
Electrifying.
I've had a camera there, and it was uncomfy.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could find that pleasurable. And they numbed things up even. I don't understand how you can do that recreationally.
Right.
Ugh.
That movie, by the way, is never going to be released.
The camera footage of Urethra Road?
Yeah, Lionsgate, they dropped it.
Oh.
Start an OnlyFans. Post it up on there.
You're going to have to show me how to do that.
You could start a crowdfunding. See how many people want to see it.
If this was a podcast only, I could change the name of Kickstarter to something else.
Josh, having a camera crew navigate your urethra, how do you compare it to the Q-tip?
Well, okay, that's a great question.
Because I've had the Q-tip and I still feel it to this day, and it was 20 years ago.
In my experience, the difference was, with the Q-tip, they don't numb things up. At least they never did for me.
No,
they
did not. They didn't numb a damn thing.
The Q-tip, so this was like to explore my bladder. So it went way up there, or I guess I don't know where your bladder is, but it was up there.
Sure.
And it didn't sting like the Q-tip does. Didn't get stingy.
It didn't.
No, I think because I was numbed up. It just was uncomfortable, didn't feel very good. And, the urologist, he's like, oh, now take a look at this, because there's a light at the end of it, obviously. He's like, the inside of your bladder, it's never seen light before, and look at all this he's showing me. I'm just like, can we just pull this thing out? I'm like, this is fascinating.
So you did watch the footage of Urethra Road?
I did.
While they were traveling it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something if you would have seen like an old set of car keys?
That's where they were.
Yeah. A couple of empty beer cans. What the hell are a couple of empty beer cans doing in it? Some loose change. The remote.
We did lose a remote.
Yeah.
And I was all over my son about that, so wouldn't I be embarrassed?
Oh, he was in your urethra the whole time.
Yeah, son, it was in my urethra and then my bladder. My bad.
Not only was this kid taken to the hospital because he had 8 inches of wire strung down his urethra, but then the story comes out that he's developed a fetish for this. This kid's 17. Shouldn't some of this information be private? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe the rules are different over there?
It must be, right?
And the kid's thinking, good, that's great. The local papers could have left some of this out. So the 8-inch long wire he was wailing off with, it went too far down there. Don't you know? And it got tangled up in the inner workings of his pecker. And it caused him extreme pain when he urinated, like he just spent a weekend in Chisago City.
Oof. We've all been there.
Wapple and I both caught gonorrhea when we went bar hopping years ago and met some ladies in Chisago City. I still say that we caught the gonorrhea in Lindstrom. He's insistent it was Chisago City.
Oh, it was definitely Chisago City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play hockey there.
I remember it differently. I remember our weekend there differently, but...
I love that Dairy Queen up there, though.
Oh, yeah, we had fun at the Dairy Queen. This kid spent 9 days in terrible pain before he finally gave in and went to the hospital. So he's tough.
Oh, 9 days.
It says here's the deal, Josh. Pecomania is running wild. And pecomania is the condition that we're talking about here, where folks insert foreign objects into bodily orifices while masturbating. You want to hear the roster of orifices that folks attack if they have pecomania? Would you like to hear it?
Sure, absolutely.
Urethra.
Oh, again.
Rectum.
If I had to choose a hole, that's the one I'd go for. Way before the urethra.
Yeah.
Vagina.
All right, no, I picked that one.
I was just going to say, do you want to rethink your choice?
Spoke too soon.
You want to hear about some of the objects that they stab themselves with?
Sure.
Wires.
Yeah.
Toothbrushes.
Classic.
Classic.
To clean things out.
Light bulbs.
Oh.
Dude.
Alexa Bliss action figures.
Wow, I got one right up here.
Oh, where's that thing been?
This kid I was telling you about, he luckily didn't do any permanent damage, except, of course, to his reputation at the local high school. But he has shown signs of being addicted to this type of tug-off. He says he does it 3 times a day. And he has no control over his urges to do it, despite wanting to cut back on it. Dude, it's going to fall off.
Yeah, you'd think after a traumatic experience like that, maybe you'd find something else to masturbate with or to.
These kids need better masturbation role models. They're probably learning these bad masturbatory habits from their elders. Like, say, this guy, an elderly Japanese man, fired a 90-inch jump rope through his Jurassic urethra. And it got tangled up in his bladders.
Oh my gosh.
See, these young kids they're reading about, oh, well, I'll try that too. If a 90-year-old Japanese man can take 90 inches of jump rope, I could handle 8 inches of speaker wire.
No, you can't. No.
I wonder who's the first of us to go to the hospital for something like this.
Christ, it ain't going to be me. I'm closing in on 60 years old.
My guess is Ashley.
I was thinking Ashley as well.
Understandable. Yeah, I'd be the best.
You
guess.
might go to the hospital for masturbation problems.
Maybe you've already done that. You've gone to the hospital enough where you have your own room.
Not for those issues. No, I'm like actually, I'm very, very protective of that area and what's involved with that area. So I think I'm safe.
That's smart.
Yes.
That's just good thinking right there.
Can you get carpal tunnel from that?
I'm sure. I'm sure you can. I get tired. Yeah.
Asking for a friend?
Yeah, then maybe it could be me.
Did you just say I get tired?
Oh, yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah, hand gets tired.
How long are you?
Sometimes it takes a while.
My hand gets tired.
Yeah, so you switch to the other one.
I could finish.
Oh, the blind date.
Yes. Or, if you numb it, the stranger.
Stranger.
I'm certainly not going to end up in the hospital for masturbation problems. That's not going to be me. Here's a side note that we might be able to go summers with this. Doctors say that individuals with low IQs may be more likely to engage in risky sexual behaviors. Well, then I must have a low IQ. Not that I'd ever snake cable wire down into my unit, but I was about as risky gets for about 20 years.
Yeah, I must have a pretty low IQ too, which it doesn't surprise me, but I'm risky.
Man.
Me and Josh are pretty smart.
I don't think I have a high IQ at all, but I am risk adverse in several categories, but specifically that one, certainly.
Yeah, Wapple, if that's true, that your IQ determines your sexual activity, you are Albert F. Me running Einstein.
Oh, totally. Smartest man alive.
I think the IQ in your IQ is indica. Isn't that a strain of weed?
Yes, yeah. Good job, Josh.
But I like sativa better.
Oh, you do?
I can understand why this might give somebody a gut ache. A gal had one of those cesarean sections. Are you following that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Doctors upped and, they cut her open and they pull the baby out. A fairly common thing, right?
Yeah.
But a smooth year and a half later, this gal's guts were still bothering her. Year and a half.
Yeah.
It turned out way back when the doctors pulled that baby out, they forgot to pull something else out. And don't get cute with that. The doctors forgot to remove
a second baby.
There was not a second baby.
Dude, that would have been nuts, Wobble.
There was not a second baby.
The baby's just knocking at the womb.
Hello.
Hello. Been in here a really long time.
If they missed that.
I've already missed a birthday.
I saw the door open there for 20 minutes. I was taking a leak and I missed it. I'm still. No, the doctors forgot to remove a medical tool from her belly. They say This gal had something called an Alexis wound retractor, which is, just to be clear, a soft tubular device used to draw back the edges of a wound during surgery. It holds so the wound doesn't close. They clamp down the two sides of they left that in her stomach. They say it's the size of a dinner plate.
Whoa!
Jeez.
Where did that go?
It had accidentally been left up inside her during that C-section operation. It was kicking around her guts for 18 months. She complained to her doctor about a world-class gut ache over and over again. Nobody could figure it out because this wacky-ass device in her boiler, it couldn't be seen by, what are those things called? An X-ray machine. The doctors, the hospital, are very effing apologetic over there.
Oh, I bet, because they know that they're paying out.
It doesn't say anything in here about if she's going to get a few bucks or a new car for her troubles, but damn.
You'd hope.
I would think so.
If you go through something like that, I better be getting paid.
I'd imagine you would be.
I told you before, my brother, when he was young and violent, and usually about .36, he punched his arm through a window. It was a terrible night. It was like the most destructive, most awful beer party we ever had. The cops came 6 times. There were ambulances in the driveway. It was horrible, horrible what we put our neighbors through. It was the worst effing night. But my brother, trying to get to me, blasts his arm through a window. And it was just... So he gets taken off to the hospital in an ambulance. They sewed him up. And then, 2-3 days later, he's moving his arm up and down. And you could hear, from across the room, you could hear it go. You think, what the hell is this? What happened there? They had to go open him back up again. They left like 3 pounds of glass in his arm. Oof. How about remove the glass and then sew me up? It was like, I don't know, it was somebody's birthday party at the hospital that night. They weren't paying attention.
They had to go get the cake.
Yeah, there's cake in the break room, everybody.
The doctor that opened it up said, what the hell happened? My brother said, I'm not a doctor. You tell me. The doctor said, Jesus, they left 3 pounds of glass in your arm.
That's always a scary moment when the doctor says, what did they do? When I had the stitches in my face, I went to a different doctor to get them removed. And the doctor was like, why'd he do it like this? And I was like, wait. Is this, what's happening here?
They used to call Josh Mr. Baseball in his neighborhood when he was growing up. Mr. Baseball, they called you, right, Josh?
They did, yeah. Every kid called me that.
Was that because you were awesome at baseball?
No, because of the stitches in my face.
Emo Phillips.
We used to have him in studio a lot.
Mm-hmm. I loved Emo Phillips.
Me too.
Some of our listeners did not love Emo Phillips.
That is true.
Yeah, you either loved him or you hated him. There was really no in between.
Pretty accurate.
And I loved him.
Me too.
He was so good.
Did he tell the same jokes every time? Yes.
Yes, he did.
But they were great jokes.
What did he always mention he was looking forward to whenever he made an appearance in Minnesota?
Boy, I don't remember.
He always mentioned he was looking forward to seeing all the hot mamas.
That's right. He loved the hot mamas.
Minnesota was loaded with hot mamas, according to Emo Phillips. Emo Phillips.
Gosh, he loved the hot mamas.
And there was, you ever went to anyone here aside from Josh and I go to an Emo Phillips show?
No.
Wall-to-wall hot mamas.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
When I think Emo Phillips, I think hot mamas in the audience.
I don't appreciate your tone. But if Emo was here, he wouldn't either.
Hot mamas. Speaking of heat, I didn't even know that this was a thing that could happen. And I'm going to guess neither did the rest of you. A 25-year-old Brazilian gal with the name Thais. She's been in the hospital for 6 months. Her effing brain swelled up on her. Oh. Because she sniffed a spicy hot, super spicy hot, spicy chili pepper.
Whoa.
Just sniffed it?
Sniffed it.
Didn't snort it.
Sniffed it. Back in February, Thais was over at her boyfriend's house helping him cook dinner for his parents.
That's nice.
Isn't that something?
I've never done anything like that.
Tyus went ahead and sniffed a pickled goat pepper. And now if you don't know anything about hot peppers and such, and I surely don't, this pickled goat pepper has a Scoville rating of between 15 to 30,000. And that's hot, I guess?
Sounds hot.
Does anyone know?
I lose track of what the numbers are on those types of things, but it sounds hot. Definitely sounds like a lot of skulls.
Skull brother.
So, like a jalapeno has a Scoville rating between 2,500 and 8,000.
Okay. And we're talking 15 to 30,000 Scovilles of heat, whatever. So this young gal, she sniffed the pepper, and then she rubbed it on her nose, just playing around, being cute.
All right.
She immediately felt like garbage. They ran her over to the local hospital. Her brain had ballooned up on her, and they think it's because she had an allergic reaction to the pepper. I mean, she fell into a coma, for Pete's sake.
Dang.
She got out of the hospital, but after a few days, she had to go back because she had a terrible fever, and her pee turned red.
Whoa.
She's unable to walk or talk. This is bad.
Wow. Yeah, this is poor girl.
Food allergies, man. I don't have any as far as I know, but that sounds pretty brutal.
I don't think I have any, but I will say, actually, I'm probably going to tell you that I do have one right now. Anytime I eat cranberries, like my throat gets all itchy and like my mouth gets all weird, but I can't stop eating them. They're so good.
Same thing happens to me when I eat dingleberries. And I chomp them up, man. Up. Okay, people are texting and saying they're telling me that I'm saying this all wrong. It's not a goat pepper, it's a ghost pepper.
I've heard of ghost peppers.
That's what I thought, but
Okay.
I was like, maybe there's a new pepper I've never heard of.
I don't know. I don't know these things, but thanks for straightening me out. It's not a goat pepper or a goat pecker. It's a ghost pepper.
Yeah, and when you said...
Well, there is a goat pepper.
Oh,
That's
there
what the
is.
story says, goat pepper.
Oh, well, then everyone can F off and stop texting me now.
I was going to say, a goat pepper seems kind of mild.
Why does that seem kind of mild?
compared to like a ghost pepper, which is in the million range.
Because ghosts are scary and goats are harmless, lovable.
Yeah, like I would not eat a lion pepper, but I would totally eat a goat pepper.
I get what you mean, Waffle.
You're a weird dude.
Like a shark pepper? I'm not touching that.
But you might eat a butterfly pepper.
Yeah, totally on that page.
Sure, or even let's go back before it's a butterfly, like a caterpillar pepper. You
Yeah.
need something like that.
Like that's way easier to understand than Scoville units.
What about a mountain gorilla pepper? Would you eat a mountain?
No.
But, okay,
that's gonna mess you up.
let's keep going with this. What about a dachshund puppy pepper?
Yeah, I'd eat that.
Oh.
You sick
Yeah, I'd eat that.
bastard.
I'd eat a dachshund puppy pepper.
Wow.
Say that 10 times fast.
I will not.
Oh, God, we got to get going. It looks like there might be a job opening or two in the mascot department over there at Disneyland in California. And that's because a couple of derelicts working in the Mickey and Minnie and Pluto costumes have been running around twerking and simulating sex acts all over the damn fun park.
Bro. That's the only place where I wouldn't want to be in a mascot uniform.
Too
Why is
busy,
that
or
the-
It's just because, the kids, like, just all over you. Like, one time I saw Goldie was rented for a grad party I was at, and I just watched, like, all these kids just pull on his uniform the whole time. It looks miserable.
Any kid just walk up and just punch him right in the balls?
But you're saying Disney's the one place you wouldn't.
Yeah, Disney.
I'm going to challenge you on that. What about a funeral for a beloved family member?
You know what, Josh? Let's go.
When I go, I want you to be a mascot. I'd go ahead and twerk.
I could do that for you.
Yeah, people would be... Now, wait a minute. Now, Linda died, but yet Ashley has shown up to pay her respects dressed as Sonic the Hedgehog. What the hell is going... Okay.
She's dressed as a dachshund and Waffle's eating her.
Disney is investigating this problem. People dressed in the Disney costumes, Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, running around, twerking. There's video evidence of this inappropriate behavior. In one of the videos, Minnie Mouse is making her cheeks clap. And then another video, Pluto is twerking like he's in a Lizzo video. And by damn, if there ain't video going around where it looks like Pinocchio is dumping some noggin on Captain Effin' Hook.
Oh, boy.
That's hot stuff.
I always had a feeling. I had a feeling.
Someone involved in this disaster said Disney's biggest customers are young children. Well, not really.
Yeah, it's their parents.
They don't have the money. You see where I'm going with that. Disney's biggest customers are young children who don't want the illusion shattered. Well, yeah, you can't be dressed up as a lovable Disney character and give pretend skull at the park.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Some 6-year-old Iowegian kid on vacation, he doesn't know how to process that. One of the videos shows the Pluto character twerking to a song with the lyrics that say, "Here comes the hurricane, bitch." You can't say bitch in front of a 6-year-old Iowegian kid. Last year, Disneyland in California had 16.9 million visitors swing by, Josh. That's the second most visited theme park in the world, behind Orlando, Florida's Magic F Me Runnin' Sideways Kingdom.
They should have an adult version where we can see this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Disney
An
After
adult-
Dark?
Yeah. Dude, Dana, love that.
Wow, that's a great idea. Captain Hook. He's banging who? Who do you want to see Captain Hook pin?
Minnie Mouse.
Okay, fair enough.
I was going to say Cinderella, but that's a good choice too, Josh.
No, Cinderella's mine, bro.
I'm just picturing like a Disney strip club.
Wait, Cinderella's an adult, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I think.
I'll tell you what, if we're going to have mascots pairing off and banging each other's brains out, I guarantee you our guy, David Lee Roth, he ain't getting a damn thing. He's going to be whacking off in the corner.
That's how we do.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I'm so excited for the college football season to be back. Let's go ahead and start this bad boy with a splash. I ripped my pants. My pants are falling off. The pants ripped all the way. I couldn't have planned it any better.
Pants on the ground, looking like a fool with your pants on the ground.
What is he, Robert Griffith Part 2, 3?
3, the third.
The third. Well, what did he expect? Did you see the video where he jumped into the ocean to celebrate the opening of the college football season? He's an announcer now for college football. Robert Griffith, Part 3. He used to be a quarterback in the NFL, if you don't know who we're talking about. What did he expect to happen jumping up in the air in those friggin' skinny jeans?
They were way too tight. And boy, did those things burst open back there.
He jumps into, he does like a David Lee Roth, not Rock, but Roth type splits as he jumps into the ocean. And of course, his pants split right down the ass crack. Guys these days wear their friggin' pants so tight.
Especially, I'm glad he wasn't going commando.
Oh, that would be bad.
That would have been, and his legs were spread. That what a view that would have been.
We would have seen anus.
Yeah.
Had he not been wearing underwears, but especially with suits. The last couple years, the trend for guys' suits, for the real hip young guys, it's skin tight. I don't get it.
Oh, I love it.
You do?
Yeah, I like a fitted suit.
You like to see the curves of a man, do you?
Oh, yeah. Yum.
That's Robert Griffith. By the way, Josh, you know, you were telling us earlier about that movie that was made inside your penis?
Yes.
Doctors snaked a camera down your urethra.
They did.
A listener wanted to know, was it a short film?
You know what? I saw those texts coming in, and I don't appreciate that. I have enough issues already. I didn't need that. Yes, it was, unfortunately.
What's everyone bringing over tonight to eat for my 20 plus 23 NFL season opener house party?
Lots of dips.
I'll supply the beer. I brewed my own.
I've got a nice guacamole spread that I thought you'd like, a charcuterie board. I thought about bringing that.
I'll have a garbage can right at the door for all of your dips, your guacamole. Just put it right in the garbage. You can bring the charcuterie board in. We can eat some of that.
How about some loaded nachos?
Oh, no.
I won't have time to eat, though, because I'll be telling you all about my fantasy team the entire time while the game is being played.
You better keep track of that fantasy team. Play in and play out. You better be giving me updates as to how you're doing good or bad. Real quick, the Twins dropped that last game of the Cleveland series. We'll get into it with Randy Shaver here in about a half hour. Josh's news is coming up.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, Minnesota. CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.
Movies, TV shows, books, podcasts, and more. It's What Women Binge with Melissa Joan Hart and her friend Amanda Lee.
Talking about the SAG strike.
A large portion of SAG lives on their residuals. When I did Nickelodeon, I, since 1993, haven't seen a dime on Clarissa.
Right.
And they want me to come promote it when it launches on Paramount Plus or it's back on Nickelodeon. And it's like, I would love to, but they won't pay me. So I'm like, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to work for free when there's no benefit for me.
What Women Binge, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Outrageous speeds. He was a danger and a menace to society and to himself. He wouldn't get out of the car. We had to break the window out of the car, and then they look and discover that it's one of their colleagues.
A 22-year-old man is out of a job after leading deputies in a high-speed chase Sunday. Turns out the man's employer wasn't happy he ran from cops, especially because he's also a cop.
Oh, no.
Or at least he was.
You know why he couldn't pull over? Because he'd been drinking. I tell them on day one of orientation, Uber is cheap. If you drink and drive and we stop you, you can't work here any longer.
A deputy clocked a Subaru Impreza driven by Polk County, Florida deputy Jacob Kite going 105 and a 60 just after midnight. Another cop observed the car at speeds of 114 and 117, and a chase ensued. They reached speeds of 130 miles per hour in a 45. Kite refused to stop. He ran a stop sign and continued onto the highway where he struck a concrete median. At one point, he was accused of swerving towards one of the deputy's patrol vehicles in an aggressive manner and nearly hitting it. Police conducted a pit maneuver, bringing an end to the chase. After allegedly refusing to exit the vehicle, he was taken into custody and suspected of driving under the influence. Grady Judd, Polk County's fiery and famous sheriff, was colorfully angry about his deputy breaking the law.
I am hotter than a $2 pistol at a Georgia junk joint late on Saturday night.
He resigned his position with the sheriff's office following his arrest. Grady Judd said that had he not resigned, he would have fired his ass. In other police chase news, a high-speed chase of a stolen vehicle in Canada ended after the driver collided with a bear carcass while speeding away from Mounties before bursting into flames.
It's very dramatic.
That's very Canadian.
Yes.
Smashed into a bear carcass and then the car burst.
Yeah, car exploded.
How's he doing?
It didn't say.
Oh, boy.
Crispy, I guess. Authorities are searching for a male suspected of shooting and setting fire to several Michigan State Police vehicles. These squad cars were lit on fire and struck by rifle rounds around 3:30 a.m. yesterday.
That's how you do it.
No troopers were in the vehicles at the time of the attack, thankfully. Authorities said the suspect is considered armed and dangerous.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
A Maryland officer was suspended after a bystander recorded video of him making out with a young woman and then entering the back seat of his patrol vehicle with her at a public park in broad daylight with children playing nearby. Video caught the uniformed officer entering his squad with the woman and staying in there, doing who knows what, for about 30 to 40 minutes before going their separate ways. The man who recorded the video said he couldn't believe what he was seeing, especially when the police car, quote, started rocking a little bit to the left and then the right. The Prince George County Police Department said they're aware of the video and the officer was identified and suspended pending an investigation.
I woke up this morning and it had 2 million views already. Glad I caught all of it on camera so Prince George can see the type of officers they have working for them, supposedly protecting the community.
The officer's wife has been going off on her cheating husband and the other woman on social media.
Here's a guy who doesn't want to protect and serve, Cubby. He wants to be banging.
He wants to, and he was allegedly banging. An ex-mistress of a French champagne magnate has been convicted of harassing him and his family when he ended their 3-year affair, even chasing him with a knife and threatening to chop off his penis.
Not cool.
After he dumped her, the 48-year-old woman started sending thousands of messages, including threats to cut off the married man's willy. "I want to kill you," she wrote in one text.
Oh.
"I want you to die. Am I clear?" she wrote.
Yeah.
The 70-year-old grandfather, who once told an interviewer he was paid to eat, drink, and make love sometimes, initially replied with loving messages, despite her vitriol. He even offered to put the woman up in a luxury apartment and pay to help her calm things down.
Oh.
However, this abusive message kept coming in, and 3 years into the harassment, he finally reported her to police.
Took him 3 friggin' years?
Yeah, I suppose he...
Patient dude right there.
Probably didn't want to, out himself there.
True.
Having this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Days later, the crazed ex took a train 90 miles to confront him, pulling out a knife and chasing the elderly tycoon down the street, threatening his wiener. "If I had running shoes on, I would have caught you and I would have murdered you," she texted him later.
She's not shy.
She was just wearing the wrong shoes for murder.
Yeah. I didn't have my murdering shoes on.
The scorned mistress was sentenced to a year suspended prison sentence, meaning she will stay free if she can avoid severing the rich fella's little fella.
She's got to be put away.
Yeah. But why did they stay together?
Well, yeah, because she tears the sheets down, son.
Great in the sack.
And he must be quite spirited, too, in bed. My theory is when they want to cut it off, that means they really miss it.
They don't want anybody else to have it.
They don't want anybody else to have it. So I bet they made a pretty good combination. But, we've mentioned this many times on the program, Josh. There are plenty of people out there who they do not have the ability to let it go. Every one of us has an ex who we think has let it go. They haven't.
I know.
And they're waiting on us.
Like you said,
That's scary. I don't like
there's
that.
probably something to that where they want to cut your penis off because it was so good.
It was that damn good. Yeah.
I had a girl, our relationship ended, and I said, "You probably want to cut my penis off, huh?" And she said, "No, not at all. Never even crossed her mind."
Man.
I thought of cutting my own off and blaming her just so it seemed like I'm good with some sex.
No.
In the first of several stories regarding random naked men up to no good, home security cameras captured the end of a bizarre crime spree in Edgewater, Colorado, where police say a naked man forced his way into 2 homes and physically fought with the people who lived there.
What the hell are you doing?
Police were called about 4:20 p.m. Monday when a man wearing nothing but a trash bag approached a woman, walked up to the front door, and then went inside her house.
My wife had just walked out of the house. She was getting in her car, and she noticed this man wearing nothing but a trash bag. I chased after him into our house and then started yelling at him, pushing him out, and then we started kind of wrestling on our porch here. I just had a few scratches, a torn shirt, and a broken gate.
Next, the scantily clad suspect ran to the neighbor's house. They were outside doing yard work, and he was able to get in their home, too. According to police, those homeowners also got into a physical fight with the suspect.
I don't want to fight a naked dude.
No, I don't either. Before he took off running down the alley, no longer wearing that trash bag.
In one fell swoop, you're chasing a naked man down an alley. He's a large individual. He's about 6'5", about 240, 250 pounds. He had no clothes on. He was naked, and he was not listening to the officer's commands.
According to police, the suspect is believed to have been high on methamphetamine.
Probably meth rocks. That's a tough spot to be in. Because if a stranger enters my home, I'm forced to fight them, but I don't want to fight them naked.
That's why you have swords. You don't got to get too close.
That's why you have swords?
We all should. Or at least a machete, right?
No, I gave mine away.
Oh, see, that was your mistake.
So you have a sword to protect your home?
Yep.
Nick did give his away. Now guess who has 2 machetes? This guy.
I also have 2, Josh. It's really fun.
Police in 2 Twin Cities suburbs disclosed yesterday there were at least 7 females groped or assaulted in some other manner on the same day last month. They're saying that this is an at-large suspect who threatened to shoot at least one of his victims. The first 2 assaults occurred outdoors on the morning of August 20th in Minnetonka, followed by 5 more that afternoon at 2 stores in Roseville.
Jesus.
In the first encounter, a woman in her mid-40s reported being approached in the driveway of her house shortly before 6 a.m. She said the man, who smelled of alcohol, grabbed her around the neck, put a handgun to her head, and threatened to kill her if she didn't go behind her house. The woman lied and warned him that her husband was inside. The man walked away, and the woman went inside and called 911. About 2.5 hours later, a similar confrontation took place roughly 3.5 miles to the south on a regional trail when a man walked up from behind, grabbed an 87-year-old woman by the shoulder, and fondled himself. The woman screamed while pushing him back, and while he was exposing himself, he said, "If you keep screaming, I'll really attack you." The man left the trail, and someone the woman knew showed up and called 911. In Roseville early that same afternoon, police were alerted to a man sexually harassing women and a 12-year-old for the 9 minutes he was in the Old Navy store there before leaving. Later in the afternoon, and in the same shopping complex, multiple women were groped in the Sierra Outdoor Recreational Retailer. Store video shows the suspect walking around touching women's butts. He left the store after a confrontation with the man.
Well, what in God's name are we supposed to do about this?
Yeah, hopefully he finds the slipperiest jailhouse stairs. A California man was arrested Monday for allegedly breaking into a woman's Santa Monica apartment over the weekend while naked. Police received a call from a resident about 1 a.m. Saturday saying she'd woken up to a nude man standing next to her bed. The woman fought off the intruder and managed to open the front door of the apartment, forcing him out. Investigators identified the suspect as a 29-year-old. Police said that he had actually been observed at the woman's apartment complex twice just on Friday. Also,
these stories should lead all of us to start donating more clothes.
Maybe that's all they need. Also in California, and the finale of our New Dudes in the News miniseries, a naked man suspected of walking into a home while under the influence of meth was arrested. Police say a female victim awoke to a naked man in her apartment Monday, who then walked into a room containing sleeping children. The victim's adult brother was able to force the suspect out of the residence before police arrived.
Was able to find an unlocked door of an apartment. The man entered the apartment. Once inside the apartment, he took off all of his clothes. As the homeless man was trying to turn the lights on of that room, the resident of the apartment was able to push the homeless man out as female resident was calling 911.
Authorities confirmed the victims, who didn't know the man, weren't injured during the incident. The neighbor here thinks the man was tweaking.
Terrible tweakers, just tweakers. They're all night tweaking.
The suspect, identified as 34-year-old Robert Young, was arrested in the parking lot. Police in Washington State shot out the tires of a stolen backhoe after the suspected thief refused to stop driving toward an animal shelter he intended to destroy.
What the hell kind of person wants to destroy an animal shelter?
The Ferry County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call from a contractor last Tuesday reporting a man named Clinton Karras had stolen a backhoe. He said the man intended to drive nearly 30 miles to knock down an animal shelter where his dog had been impounded. Deputies had previously arrested Karras for outstanding warrants, and he couldn't find anyone to take his dog for him. He refused to come to an agreement with a local shelter for boarding, so the shelter said they had no option but to impound the dog. A few days later, Karras returned after dealing with his court case and tried to get his pup back. The shelter agreed to return the dog once the impound hold was over, but Karras wanted his dog now. He got angry with the staff, and deputies were called to trespassing. Then, later, he stole the backhoe. After receiving the report of the stolen machinery, deputies responded, but he refused to pull over. When the backhoe came to within a mile of the shelter, they closed the road and shot 12-gauge buckshot into the machine's front tires. The backhoe, that is, slowed slightly but continued to move forward until deputies flattened the back tires as well. Struggling to control the heavy machinery, Karras pulled off the road and surrendered.
Oh, well, great. So now he goes to jail, so now he's away from his puppy even more.
Yep.
Yeah. Get a friggin'
I think
grip.
The puppy could use maybe a different guy.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he needs a break.
There's a problem here, obviously.
Yeah, I think so. A Florida woman used a can of bear spray on her adult sister and a 1-year-old baby boy
no.
during an argument over a parking space. The Broward Sheriff's Office said the incident occurred Friday outside of an apartment complex where the defendant, 19-year-old Danica Hightower, lives. Just before 8:30 p.m., Hightower took out a 9-ounce can of Mace, branded Guard, the Alaska-style bear spray, and used it on 2 victims. In fact, the court documents allege the defendant used the manufacturer's maximum strength version on the victims. Again, this is her sister and a 1-year-old boy. The booking report goes on to describe the alleged motive as a verbal dispute outside the residence over a parking space.
Wow, that lady really just said, screw you, nephew.
I'd take it as a badge of honor if somebody used the max strength bear spray on me. You know, like, I know the regular stuff isn't going to take him down. I need the max strength bear spray.
You are about the size of a bear.
That is true.
I could see needing to go something a little more than just the norm. There's a noise problem on the streets of St. Cloud.
I've gotten pulled over by a state trooper in St. Cloud for excessive noise on an exhaust. We just like to enjoy it. We're not trying to be a nuisance to anybody else. Something that we get joy out of.
You know what that guy says of having a loud exhaust and how much he enjoys it?
What does he say?
He said it's not miles per gallon, it's smiles per gallon. I'm not making that up. That's what he said.
Oh, my God.
After several complaints, police are starting to crack down on loud mufflers. The department is stepping up enforcement on the state noise law, and officers will be issuing warnings and tickets.
It's just really disturbing. It's a quality of life issue. 1, it's illegal. 2, we're looking at it. 3, there will be enforcement on that. You know, expect that if you're driving through town, especially bringing attention to yourself by driving it purposely to be loud, and you've altered it, you're going to get stopped.
A ticket for a loud muffler in St. Cloud will cost you $200.
I'm at that age where I want everything to be turned down quite a bit.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when they do it when you're going through a tunnel.
Oh, just gun it?
Yeah, because then it's so amplified.
Turn everything down.
People used to do that by me quite a bit because I used to have a hybrid. And, you know, like energy cars, no. So people would do that by me constantly.
You know what I'd do if I'd roll coal. I'd roll coal. I don't have a diesel though. Kung Fu Panda: The Dragon Knight Season 3 is now on Netflix. The Season 4 debut of Star Trek Lower Decks premieres today on Paramount Plus. And the NFL regular season kicks off tonight on NBC with the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Detroit Lions.
Detroit.
Speaking of the NFL, it was on this day in 1963 the NFL Hall of Fame was dedicated in Canton, Ohio. Dolores Abernathy, the first android host on Westworld. Evan Rachel Wood, 36 today. Shannon Elizabeth, the foreign exchange student Nadia in the American Pie movies. Is 50. Marge on The Simpsons, Julie Kavner, 73. Feels like 10, looks like 2. Jesus text in a shout out on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line this morning to his wife, Loring Elementary Jesus. They had their firstborn about a week ago.
What the hell?
Welcome to the brotherhood, little Brooks Michael, and congrats to the new parents. Shout out to Kellyanne from Metal Deburring Jesus, and that's 93X News.
KARE 11's Randy Shaver.
Never had a grown man send me so many pictures with his shirt off.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
We had one guy get his ear ripped off. They sewed it back on, and now they say he has a concussion, and he can't, so he's out.
His ear, like Evander Holyfield?
Not the whole ear, but partial ear detachment. I think it was from when he got his helmet knocked off, and I think his ear didn't come out of his helmet. So he'll sit out this game.
Oh, my goodness, he's got a bloody right ear. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Damn right. Here's a guy who I bet is psyched not to be here today with us. We're just rent money to him. But because he can't get enough of the National Football League, and this is the big season opener, he's signed up for 30-some fantasy football leagues. Randy Shaver, you're pumped, aren't you?
I am completely overwhelmed today.
Yes. I'm not surprised. You are an absolute addict, a degenerate. The football gambling is off the charts for you. And also, it's fitting that here on National Beer Lovers Day, one of the best beer drinkers I've ever seen in person is in studio. It's Jungle Jane, Janel Klein. The Faribault Flash, one of the heaviest hitters when it comes to beer drinking.
Oh, my gosh.
There was, remember this, Janelle, at my house last baseball season? You plopped a case of beer down between the two of us, and you said, if we don't wipe this pig out by the 7th inning stretch, we ain't jack squat.
That's right. Yeah. And you drank 2, and I drank 22.
She had 22. And never burped.
I'm trying to think, how many keg stands have we seen you do in the last decade?
It's weird to see her not doing one.
She doesn't even need a spotter. Oh, there you go. It's the beginning of the. You heard the what's the term in the industry, Josh? The intro there. That's a true story. A Portland State football player had his ear ripped off for him in their game against Oregon over the weekend.
Ouch.
That was a close game. I forget the score. Anybody remember?
I have it right here in front of me, Josh.
Wasn't it like a nail biter?
Yeah. Well, the final score,
like by field goal, right?
University of Oregon 81, Portland State 7.
Okay, I misremembered.
81.
81.
Did Neil Lomax get hurt in the first quarter for Portland State?
Neil Lomax. See, that's the stuff right there. That's the stuff that
I'm right? Didn't he play for Portland State?
I believe you're correct. Most of you have no idea where he's going with this.
Yeah, Portland State.
But I'm on board. I remember Neil Lomax.
Yeah, played for the Cardinals.
Don't you think that coach, Bruce Barnum's his name?
Bruce Barnum.
Wasn't he pretty nonchalant about half a guy's ear getting ripped off? Yeah. I mean, if you listen, especially in the longer clip, he's kind of like, all right, let's move past it. What's the big deal? Guy had half his ear ripped off.
He's got that tough guy vibe going, so he's not making a big deal about a player, a college kid, who had his helmet knocked off during a play, is the way it sounds to me, and the kid's ear stayed in the helmet. But yeah, he talks about it like it ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string from Burger King, didn't he, Josh?
He did.
Wouldn't you be pissed if you were the kid? Like, hello, I don't have an ear.
Can they sew that on?
They did. They sewed it back on.
Yeah. But in the wrong place. It was very embarrassing.
It's attached to his knee now.
One time when I was a young reporter, I covered a bar fight in Thief River Falls where someone bit someone's nose off.
Oh, God.
And we wondered that, like, can you sew someone's nose back on? Like, what are the limitations to this?
And there's the horde. What was that movie again?
Dirty Work.
Dirty Work, Chris Farley. Yeah, I think you can sew that kind of thing back on, Janel Klein. I think maybe there's a time limit on it.
Yes.
Like, did they just go find the helmet and there's the ear chunk? And then
They must have.
I think so. They
Put it on ice. Keep it fresh.
We always pictured at that bar, like, people are on their hands and knees, like, crawling around in the dark looking for the guy's nose.
That would be so hard.
Damn.
He ends up with something else glued on his nose.
There's a Bing cherry on the end of my face.
He soaked up the blood with some pull tabs.
Did you guys ever see the movie Almost Heroes with Matthew Perry and Chris Farley? Oh, yeah, a long time ago.
I've never even heard of it.
The dude's ear gets blown off, and then the one guy finds his ear and he's pretending to talk to it, and he's like, Edwin, can you hear me? The guy's standing right next to him. He's like, yeah, I can hear you. It was so funny.
Why were you sent to cover that story? Just because it's such an outrageous...
Yeah, I don't know if I even went there. I just remember getting a press release from the sheriff's office.
I would think they wouldn't send a nice young lady like yourself to a bar where noses are getting bit off. You know, it's like, why would you send Janelle over there?
You always go to the interesting stories.
I do.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? There was a lot of them up there. There was always something crazy going on. Maybe it happens here in Minneapolis. We just don't hear about it. But up there, that was big news. You know?
It was big news in Thief River Falls that they were looking for the end of somebody's nose.
Right.
Yeah. And in a town that size, they got a better chance to find it than in Minneapolis. There's too many people around here. I'm trying to think if I've ever been in a situation where something came off of somebody.
Is there any fighting at the Wayzata Legion?
Oh, not really. Everyone's too old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if they run out of chicken on roasted chicken nights?
That's a problem.
Yeah, the closest we ever come to fighting is when like a 97-year-old walks into the kitchen uninvited and says, "You're running low on cold slaw."
Cold slaw.
And we say, "Yeah, we got it. We got it. We'll be out in a minute with more cold slaw."
Wasn't there like a waffle incident at one point?
A
I
waffle
thought somebody was
incident?
pissed about something with waffles.
Oh, I don't remember that. I can tell you some stories from my dad's days there. They were a little more outlandish.
There was fighting in his day?
There's a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
you know. Maybe I don't want to say these things out loud. This is a family joint now. You know, we're breaking new ground there these days, and I don't want to tarnish the image of the joint. But I'm trying to think if I've ever been in a situation, doesn't have to be a bar, where somebody had something fall off, a toe or a finger or an elbow or a kneecap or a nose or a tongue, some teeth.
Thankfully, I've never seen something like that.
No.
Hospital security Jesus said there is a lot of stuff that happens in Minneapolis that never makes the news. Trust me, I work at a hospital in downtown. I'm sure you've seen it.
I bet.
There was almost a fight once, years ago at the Legion, and this was one of the funniest things I've ever seen at any bar, where the fight almost started because of karaoke, and it's not like two guys were fighting over whose turn it was. There was an old guy and a young guy playing pocket billiards, and I'm watching this from a distance. They begin to get nose to nose over a shot that was or was not legit in their game of pocket billiards. And the first thing I thought was, this old guy's too old to be getting... he was old, but he's nose to nose with like this 23-year-old kid. And I thought, well, that's kind of ridiculous, you know, Grandpa, for Christ's sake. But he wasn't backing down. And in the middle of this nose-to-nose situation, it was the young guy's turn to sing karaoke. So they're like, next up is Corey. He's going to sing Sweet Child of Mine. And so Corey walks away from this confrontation and goes and grabs the mic and leaves the old guy there standing by the pool table, still running hot. And Corey, he was thinking on his feet. He decided to use his karaoke song to further antagonize the old-timer. So when Sweet Child of Mine kicked in, instead of singing, "She's got a smile that it seems to me," he went after the old guy. He goes, "Jerry is a total douche, and I'm gonna punch him in the yap. And he's too old to fight me because Jerry is an asshat," or something. He went, and then and old Jerry comes running towards he's gonna fight, and the karaoke guy had to get between him and go, "Knock it off." That was brilliant on Corey's part. I couldn't believe that Corey was able to.
I wish we had a clip of that song.
Did you have to get up and dive into Don't Fall in Love with the Dreamer just to cool things down?
Would have been a great idea, because that's such a beautiful song.
It is.
Which everyone knows Kenny Rogers and Kim Carnes put that together back in, I think it was 1983. So there you go, Randy Shaver. You're ready to roll with this new
ready.
NFL season.
Excited for tonight. I hope Travis Kelce plays, and we'll
Did
see
you
what
see
happens.
the X-ray, I
did not, but I read this morning where he is going to work out this morning, and the club will make a decision. It truly is a game time decision. They're going to work him out this morning and then see how it looks game time.
I couldn't possibly care less if this guy plays or not, but I'm curious.
I know.
What had to be X-rayed?
What did
his
he injure?
knee.
His
Knee.
Yeah, so you can like see the space in between it, like his bones where they're supposed to be closer together. There's like a
He
gap there.
hyperextended it.
Yeah, it doesn't look ideal.
It doesn't look ideal.
No, like,
It's a little mundane.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but it doesn't seem right.
I got a text message from Victory Riding Square Body Driving Jesus, and he's asking me a question. So what's better? The NFL season is about to start, or that fall colors are upon us?
Yeah, starting early in northwestern Minnesota.
Josh sent me
Color report,
every
DNR.
year. Every year, it's right around this time that Josh sends me the first official fall color report.
Sure.
Yes, Randy, from the Department of Natural. Where is it? I have
one
it
of these days, we're gonna have to get like a party bus and just bring people with us.
Yes. What a great deal that would be.
Dude, I just saw an advertisement for a train that does fall color tours.
Okay.
Really?
Wapple? Wapple. There's no way you can start that sentence with dude.
Dude, I just did, though.
It's not right to start a sentence about a train that will tour you around town to see the fall colors. It's not right to start that sentence with dude.
Homies.
No. Maybe, excuse me, sir, have you seen the... Pardon me, but have... Yeah, Josh sent me this. Fall colors are starting to emerge in northwest Minnesota. I got to read some of this to you because it's so ridiculous. There's something in here that I thought was... Oh, okay. Today, be on the internet today, Janelle and Randy, because DNR officials are expected to discuss what to expect for this year's colors during a virtual news conference.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you can take your football, your fantasy football. I'm listening to this podcast.
Exactly.
I'm ready. You're every day, the first thing Nick checks is his DNR's fall color finder.
Yeah. Josh knows this stuff makes my blood pressure just bubble. But I can't imagine you're at work today in the office. Will everyone calm down and be quiet? I'm trying to watch the DNR's press conference on what to expect from this year's fall colors. Can I get a little respect for my coworkers? What else did they say?
Is it not the same thing every year?
No, it is not,
Okay,
Ashley.
okay.
No.
Different shades, I'm guessing?
That's what
All
makes
right.
it exciting.
Yeah, Ashley, quit being such a simp.
This is the story that Janelle should be covering.
It's true. It's so true.
Okay, so Janelle, today in this news conference, they will discuss tips for experiencing fall colors in state parks. And this is very important, how to share your own fall color experiences online with others.
Hashtag fall.
You know, I went to Moose Lake a couple of weekends ago, and I saw... You can share these stories with others.
I get that because I am a part of a Facebook group that's called like the Northern Way of Life, and the majority of it is all fall colors.
That sounds really annoying.
Some cool fish pictures too.
How old are you? 75? What?
I think that's the age of the person who invited me to the group.
You're part of a Facebook group called what?
The Northern Way of Life.
Oh, that is annoying.
That's just hilarious.
That's like those people who go out on a boat and then go on social media and add the hashtag lake life.
Oh, God.
I mean, some of you wouldn't understand it. It's lake life. But I mean, I'm a big part of it. I go out on my friend's boat something like once or twice a summer. It's lake life.
Oh, God.
I mean, you people with your streets and your buildings. I'm out on the lake.
You know,
just be a douche.
On the DNR's fall color finder, we can compare this year to previous years if you want to have like a ranking and stuff like that. Maybe during halftime.
Should I be expecting an email this afternoon?
No,
on
a
that?
phone call. I mean, I want to get this in real time.
I welcome any phone call you ever want to give me. So if you called me tonight and want to talk about the difference in fall colors between this year and last, Josh, you know that I would listen.
I feel like we could print off pictures, one picture of each of the last 20 years and hold it up to Nick. He'd be like, 2015. Another 2019.
It's kind of like Nick and Jersey numbers.
My Jersey number knowledge is only comparable to my fall color. It's like an old that old game Concentration.
Yeah.
Yes.
They show you one thing and then
you have to match it up.
It's pretty exciting, Janelle. So the Vikings start on Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like Josh said, tomorrow we're hoping to have our first chit-chat with Andrew DeBala.
That's great.
Talk a little
Love
bit
that guy.
I don't have any idea what to... I mean, I don't expect much from this Vikings team, but I never do. Like any regular season, baseball, basketball, hockey, I got to see a little bit before I have any idea what the hell to expect.
I listened to a couple of podcasts yesterday talking more betting DFS type podcasts, but they talked about the matchups on Sunday, and both of the podcasts I watched, the the hosts, and there was a total of 5 people in those 2 of them, they all hated the Vikings, all of them. And they all predicted Tampa to win the game.
Oh,
they
really?
Just,
hate the Vikings.
They just don't think the Vikings have the talent to be good this year. And even with Jefferson, even with Addison, they feel like the defense did not get any better from a year ago.
And they're predicting a loss in the home opener.
Predicting,
to Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield.
Jeez.
I actually listened to the guy, and I thought I misheard it, so I rewound it and listened to it again, and he was, I'm
going to say this.
Tampa to win the game.
I'm going to say this. If Tampa Bay win, I don't.
Oh gosh,
I wouldn't
so
tell.
bad.
I wouldn't know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if they were curb stomping me right now. I aside from Baker Mayfield, I wouldn't know one swinging D on that run.
Winfield kid plays safety for him.
Oh,
from
the University. Sure. Here's the thing: if Baker Mayfield beats the Vikings at home Sunday, I will have a fresh, brand new Baker Mayfield jersey on my back when we do our Wisconsin boat party. I will wear a Baker Mayfield Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey to that friggin' boat party.
That'd be awesome.
I just cannot imagine the Vikings losing the opener to a very bad Tampa Bay team. I just can't.
And they'd be in big trouble, too, because they go to Philly like 4 days later for Thursday Night Football, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, the schedule is not going to do them much favors, but this is a game. I mean, the place will be electric. Everybody's going to be excited. It's just, man.
Well, that'd be fun. That would be fun if they wet their pants in the season opener.
Gosh,
you know what I enjoy most about Vikings football. You know what I enjoy. I love the drama. I love the anger and the losing. Some of the things that I read through yesterday on the upcoming season for the Vikings, pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses for this ball club, and damn near every article I read, their strength, their pass catchers, Justin Jefferson,
absolutely,
Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson. Their weakness, defense. Yep. Up and down wherever you look. It's Kirk Cousins should probably be able to throw the football to this guy and that guy, but can their defense stop a runny nose?
Everybody is praising Brian Flores and how his defenses are so unique, and that's great, and it may be true, but you still have to have the players, right? You still have to have the talent. They still have to perform. You can design all the things you want to design, but if the players don't execute, then it doesn't really work. So we'll see. Well, fingers crossed it'll all work. But
I'm excited about one thing, that this likely will be the last season for Captain Death Rocks. I'm very excited for that.
Well, I think that's kind of a given.
I can't get that guy out of town fast enough. This is great. Got a text message here. I was talking about how I get annoyed by the lake life people around here. That's just my life. It's lake life. This is great. A text from a fella. He didn't give his name. He said, the one that bothers me is the giant douche canoes here in Minnesota and Wisconsin with a sticker on their car. I haven't seen this one yet. Salt life.
Oh, yeah.
What does that even mean?
Well, you'll understand here in a minute. He says, we're 1,500 miles from the closest ocean, but these idiots go to Florida for a week each year.
Or their snowboards.
That's a huge.
And so they know all about salt life.
Jesus.
What'd you say, Ashley?
That's a huge meme, and you always see them for some reason on Jeeps.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever seen one.
Oh, yeah.
Jeep. It's a callback to a story from a couple of days ago, isn't it, Josh?
It is.
And it makes no sense, and it was unnecessary. And
there's people that got it.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to explain it. Now Nick Bosa is the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. I mean, until next week or the week after.
Once Jefferson signs his deal.
Well, defensive player.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he switch positions?
Well, no, but Bosa's also the high. I was also thinking too, as I saw stories, he's the highest not paid non-quarterback. So that's what I was thinking.
There's no point to even telling these stories because in a month someone else will be there. So what? So Nick Bosa makes more money. I don't care.
And we're so immune to what it really means, and it's just like we just don't even bat an eye anymore at the money.
Man.
Bet Jefferson would be pretty good at defense too, though.
He probably would be.
Cornerback?
Yeah. Great safety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could see him doing this and doing that. All right. Do you want to bother?
How would you like to be an Arizona Cardinal? I was just looking at the story on ESPN.
I wouldn't mind that being
the
an
Arizona Cardinals have they haven't named a starting quarterback yet.
Well, maybe it's going to be
they don't know who's going to play it.
It's kind of like the day to decide, yeah.
Maybe it'll be Neil Lomax.
Gosh, he might be able to play for them.
Or Jim Hart.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't Mike Glennon a free agent right now?
Mike Glennon.
I'm not sure, but talk about a team that's just a mess.
What about that little guy who runs around all over the place?
He's hurt. He's not going to play.
What's his name?
Kyler Murray.
I didn't know he was hurt again.
No.
Oh, he's out, yeah.
He's always hurt.
So they're choosing between Josh Dobbs and Clayton Tune.
You made those names up.
I did not. These are the two guys they're trying to decide who's going to play quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. Let me tell you this. If you want to make a bet on Sunday, bet your house on the Washington Commanders because the Arizona Cardinals may not even get a first down.
Josh Dobbs. Sounds like a, what's the term in wrestling, Wapple? The dude who just gets curb stomped.
Like a jobber?
Yeah, a jobber.
A jobber.
That's it sounds like an AWA jobber.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And, speaking of the old AWA days, we just learned some terrible, terrible news. Sheikh Adnan El-Kaisi has died.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know why this wasn't spread around a little more. Josh and I just kind of accidentally ran into it off air here a few minutes ago.
Outside of wrestling sites, it's not really being reported.
84 years old, Sheikh Adnan El-Kaisi has passed away. Our condolences to his friends and family. I got to know the guy a little bit.
Was he original AWA guy with Vern?
I don't want to call it original.
Well, I mean with Vern, though.
Yes, he was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He was with Vern Gagne in the 70s, early 80s when I used to watch it on Saturday or Sunday mornings. He and Jerry Blackwell and the Gagnes and, that whole group. I'm sure he's got a lot of friends and family who are down and out after the Sheik has passed away. Yeah. The news was confirmed by former WWF and AWA announcer Ken Resnick, Randy Shaver.
Well, Kenny Resnick was in Rochester, Minnesota when I was in Austin, Minnesota for TV. He was the sports guy in Rochester, and I was the sports/news guy in Austin.
He had
back in 1981.
He had the blondish hair and the mustache.
Yep.
Killer Ken Resnick.
Then he went to the wrestling out of KTTC in Rochester.
When I was a kid, we went to a North Star game. I was probably 10 years old. We went to a North Star game, and AWA was all we cared about, along with the North Stars. And Ken Resnick walked by with some babe on his arm, and all of us are like, "It's Ken Resnick!" And he seemed a little annoyed. We were like, "Killer Ken! Where's Jesse the Body? Where's Sergeant Slaughter?" I'm really sad, and like I said, for the friends and family of Sheikh Adnan El-Kaisi, our condolences. This guy was a great performer, and he had an incredible story. You might want to look it up. He came over to the States from Iran, and
wasn't he from Iraq?
Oh, I'm sorry. It wouldn't be the first time I'd get those two mistaken. I apologize. Mm-hmm. Iraq. Okay, I'll go along with it. I can't quite remember, but it was one of these.
He was born in Baghdad.
It was one of these deals where he basically had to run for his life to get out of there and come to the States. And I didn't have time in prepping to look more up about the Sheik. But was he not outstanding collegiate wrestler? Does anyone have anything in front of them?
I don't know that.
Yeah, one of the articles mentioned that, yes.
And just became this great character and great wrestler for a lot of years. And like I said, late 90s, I got to know him a little bit. I started working some local shows with him, and he would get me to show up and do some ring announcing with some of the local guys. And he was just a fascinating guy. Maybe one of the most scared I've ever been in my entire life was when, Sheik and I would trade phone calls, and he'd ask me. I would do bar gigs at the Mall of America on Thursday nights for WWF SmackDown, okay, where we would all sit around and drink beer and watch SmackDown. And the Sheik would show up and hand out, flyers for his upcoming local shows. Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, that's cool. You can do that, and the mall doesn't mind if you do that. So we traded phone calls once in a while. And maybe the most scared I've ever been in my life was I had to call Sheik Adnan El Casey. Now, that's pretty exciting for me that I had this guy's phone number, being such a big fan as a kid. And I called him once, and he says, hello, and he had this big voice. And I said, Sheik, it's Nick. And he goes, Nick, what's the matter with you? You supposed to call me 2 weeks ago, and you don't call me. I've been waiting on your call. And I said, Nick from the radio station. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of another Nick. I thought he was in the show up at my door with the sword. I thought he was going to have the sword, and Mean Gene would have to say, put that thing away. He's always showing off. Janelle, why have you gotten 8 inches shorter since the broadcast began?
I just lowered my chair.
Why'd you do that?
I don't know. It's just more comfortable.
Is it really? I mean, you look like you're at the kids' table.
Yeah.
Totally. Look, all you can see
so
is
much
just
better.
Janelle's head.
You look like my mom behind. My mom's 5 feet. You look like her behind the wheel. Your head is barely above the table over there.
It's everything I ever wanted.
That's I get
to be short.
This is what you've always wanted.
Yeah.
To be short.
That's silly. What's going on over there?
Goofy.
Yeah, if you're more comfortable, then that's fine, and you look very comfortable.
I am.
But you also look like we're about ready to start a kids' ride at Valley Fair, and you're locked in and ready to go. Fire it up, everybody. Have fun on the Mighty Mouse. All right. Did the Sheik ever come after you, Randy?
He did not.
No.
Mad Dog did, but not the Sheik.
Mad Dog Vachon
Really?
came
Did he
after
really?
you?
Oh, yeah.
Or did he chew up a turnbuckle and say, you're next?
I've told you I did that live shot back in the day at the Met Center in the cage match with Hulk Hogan and Mad Dog Vachon in the
I
cage
didn't
with
know
me.
about this.
Oh, yeah. I have the
he's
video to
told me.
prove that.
Bring in that
cool.
VHS sometime. I'd like to see you with those boys.
Yeah, I went live with Hulk Hogan.
Get that.
And he flexed in front of my head and said, man, he said, this thing's bigger than your head, man.
Let me tell you
his muscle.
something. Did he call you brother?
He did.
Brother.
He called me reckless.
That'd be so cool.
Kevin Garnett called me bass. So,
Yes.
Okay, again.
Stone Cold Steve Austin told you to sit the F down, basically.
That's my favorite story I've
That
heard.
scared the hell out of me, man.
That one we were so pumped that he said that. I mean, we were like high-fiving. We were a couple of little kids, just like Janelle looks like right now. We were a couple of little kids. Todd Bertuzzi, that's the one that scared us.
Oh.
Well, you might have been scared of Bertuzzi, but I was ready for him.
That's not how I remember it. Your memory's changed since then.
You're right. When Stone Cold, his direct quote was, sit your candy ass down and shut the hell up, is what he said to me.
That's even better.
That was like, I don't know, like a religious person might experience the hand of Christ or something. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. That was special. All right, you want to go this way again? Okay, now somebody wants to break down the most annoying fan bases in the NFL. And it's the Dallas Cowboys. You all right with that?
Yeah.
Because I don't feel the need
That
to get
fits.
into it. Dallas Cowboys.
They're going to be annoyed again this year, too.
So word is, you guys watched that quarterback documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mini-series, whatever you call it. Oh, let's see here.
Peyton Manning can't get anybody to sign up for year 2.
I know.
And that's something. Why, that's where I was going with this.
Yeah.
And the players say they don't want the distraction. You think that's the truth?
I think a lot of them are very skeptical of having somebody follow them around with multiple cameras all the time.
Yeah. That's the story. Peyton Manning's trying to get some new quarterbacks to do this series, and none of them want to.
I read this morning where Peyton Manning said something to quote, like, the quote was, I have to swallow my pride. that people don't want to sign up for.
I also saw him make the joke too, where he says, when I've been talking to these quarterbacks trying to get them to do the show, I've promised them that they will also win a Super Bowl just like Patrick Mahomes did while he was on the show.
But what's the upside for them? You know, I mean, what's in it for them?
Get them a few more chicks, maybe. I don't know.
I think the Kirk Cousins phenomenon of people saying how they appreciate or like him more.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
true.
I think sometimes you can change maybe your persona of how people look at you. Either way,
I
good
can't
or
think
bad.
of it, but I can't think of anything other than that, Randy Shaver.
That's right.
If you
I agree.
Yeah, if you want your image rebuilt, it's a perfect vehicle. But I mean, you're a starting quarterback in the NFL. You don't need any more exposure.
Right. For the play, I mean, the concept is interesting to the fan. That I will give you.
Right.
The concept of being inside and behind the curtain, seeing what it's like. I've found that part of this fascinating, but year after year, you're kind of going to see the same thing, right? It's not going to be a lot different. Yeah, the people will be different, but we're still going to see the quarterback get beat up. We're still going to see him in the ice bath. We're still, you know what I mean? I don't know how you. Maybe you change the position.
Yeah.
Maybe you follow offensive line. You know what I mean? Maybe you do that as opposed to a quarterback.
I also read something, though, where Peyton Manning said he gives editing control to everybody who agrees to do it. So there's also that side of it where I'm not sure you really do see everything, right? Because anything
you're talking about giving it to the quarterback so they have final editor's approval.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean that. Yeah,
it's a hell of a deal. Here's a video.
I think we'll all live without seeing year 2 of quarterback.
I couldn't possibly care less.
After the first episode, I just watched the Kirk parts, kind of fast-forwarded through the rest.
Yeah.
I would have done it completely differently.
Oh, he was great.
Here's a video you might dig, especially if you got kids or you like kids. New York Jets punter Thomas Morstead took his kids off to a Dave & Buster's type joint. Tell me if anyone's seen this game. So he's got a pack of kids at the Dave & Buster's or a similar joint. It's a game called Hang Time. Anybody?
I've never heard of it.
It requires you to hang from a pull-up bar for as long as possible. You grab the bar, you're standing on the ground, and then it lifts you a few feet off the ground, and you have to hang there. Now, Thomas Morstead had to hang there for 2 minutes and 15 seconds before letting go, and if he did, he would win $100 in arcade tokens for his kids. And the video is very funny. He's hanging there, and he has a completely straight face. He doesn't appear to be smiling or frowning, and his kids are standing and waiting and cheering, and he beat the time he got to, and everyone goes mental.
I hope Daddy wants a prize too. Come on, you're almost there.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's cute.
After you explain what this is, Nick, I do know what this is. They have it, I don't know if they had it this year, but they have it at the state fair because last year my friend did it and he beat it.
Oh, you guys went into the arcade and whatnot at the fair?
Yeah.
That's the loneliest place in town.
Nick, what's the longest you've ever hung at a bar? I bet it's record-setting.
I bet it is, too.
Well, you know the story from when I was in Hawaii.
Does the passing out part count as being at the bar?
I have only passed out at a bar once in my long drinking career, Randy Shaver, and it was my 21st birthday, and I was only out cold for about 20 minutes. Josh, you know the story about when I was in Hawaii.
Yeah, you've told that.
F me running. I still think maybe I should have gone to the emergency room. I sat on a bar stool for so long in Hawaii that my legs ballooned and went numb, and I could not bring myself back to my hotel room. It was like I caught the bar stools were very rigid, and I sat there.
Like, didn't you take a break to go to the bathroom or something?
I mean, I had to have taken a squeege once or twice, but all I know, Randy, is when they said last call, and I got off the stool, I couldn't walk. My legs had ballooned. They doubled. My thighs had doubled in size all the way down to my ankles.
That's a really sad story.
What are you talking about? At the time of my life, I was drinking beer in Hawaii, and I couldn't walk. It never happened to me again. But I don't know. I probably was sitting in there for a good 10, 12 hours.
Wow. Did you send out a meme that said "Salt Life"?
Hang loose, Hawaii, 98. Something like that. Is that the video of the punter on our website?
Yes.
Isn't Thomas Morstead the former Saints punter that's done a lot of stuff in the charity work? I mean, he's really does a lot of work in that.
I think we got
right?
the same guy. Yes,
same guy.
He's the guy. If you watch Hard Knocks, he's the guy Randall Cobb was making fun of because after any extra point, he just sprints off the field. He runs. Did you see that one, Randy?
I have not.
To get his cardio going.
You ever watch Thomas when he went off the field after the PAT? After the next PAT, watch it. Oh man, it's amazing. He is running at least 17 miles per hour. I got the whole team watching you after PATs.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, no pressure. Watch him run off the field after the field goal. You see one there? He do it every time. Every time. You see it? Hey, I didn't know you was that fast. You always do that after the PAT?
Yeah, it's not 100% sprint. It's like...
I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of the game, just to watch you run.
People don't know, and they're like, what the f*** is that doing?
It is pretty funny.
Yeah. Just out of nowhere, you see this dude just sprinting across the field. Like, what is he doing?
He's done. He's done. His job is done.
Oh, man. Hey, the Twins, the Guardians got a hold of themselves.
Yeah.
After getting straight up pumped the last couple of the nights, they beat the Twins 2-1 yesterday to avoid the sweep. So
it's 6 games, 22 to go. I mean, it's a comfortable lead, but it's not impossible for the Guardians to. I mean, they would basically have to run the table, and the Twins would basically have to completely implode to lose that lead.
The Guardians own the tiebreaker now if they finish the season with the same record.
That's correct.
Oh, boy.
So,
well,
let's hope it does not come down to that. I know that the Twins' schedule does help them. They get not right away. They get the Yankees and Tampa at home through next week, but they play the White Sox. They play the Angels. They play the Oakland A's. They play Colorado. They've got some team. They're not playing, Texas anymore, or Philadelphia, or teams that are chasing, that are going to play their best players. So I think they're going to be okay.
They come home now, the Twins, and they start a series tomorrow night with the New York Metropolitans, who are kind of a garbage pile.
Oh, did I say Yankees? I meant Mets. Sorry.
Yeah. By the way, right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, what the hell's the word? SLAM. Text SLAM to 651-989-9393 for your shot to win tickets to the Twins versus the Rays Monday at Target Field. That prize is furnished by the Minnesota Twins. Good luck with that.
That'll be fun. That's a good series. I mean, Tampa Bay obviously is a really good baseball team. They're 30 games over 500. That'll be a good game.
Philadelphia Phillies shortstop Trey Turner has been thrown on paternity leave exactly 9 months after signing a $300 million contract.
To the day.
Interesting.
To the day.
That's,
you see what we're saying with that, Ashley?
Yes.
Respect. Love the game.
Celebrate.
He and the old lady got it on. When he signed a I would have had sex with him.
Atta girl, I would have
if I could have had a piece of a $300 million contract.
Yeah, that's funny. That's very
After
funny.
he signs the contract. So, honey, you want to have a baby?
No one on social media let that little
No, that was good.
That little note go by.
That was good.
All right. I'm out of gas.
So what do you think, Nick? Lions tonight? What do you think?
Oh.
What do you think? Are you excited to watch Dan Campbell in action tonight?
No, I am not.
Oh, come on. You're a big Lions guy.
I have a thing for the Lions. I do. I want them to win the division. I want great things for that wacky-ass Dan Campbell. It's going to take me a while to get as involved as I like to get in the National Football League, Randy Shaver. Sorry if I'm not, tap dancing around.
I just thought maybe you have some interest in the game because it's Detroit.
I'll watch a little bit of it. I got to catch up on AEW Dynamite, but I'll watch a little bit of the football game. Do I think the Lions will win tonight? No. The friggin' Mahomes guy just runs wild, and the Chiefs will win every game.
I think it'll be a better game than most people think.
Okay.
I think Detroit will be very competitive tonight.
I'll be checking out the game as soon as I find out what's going on with Don Callis.
Well, and we have to discuss the fall color palette.
Josh is going to call me tonight.
Josh.
Yes.
Josh, would you also include me on that email, too?
I would love to. Let's start at Jane.
One day, Josh is going to force me into a convertible at gunpoint so we can tour the fall colors.
Randy's got a convertible.
I do. Let's jam all of us into the convertible. You have to sit on Josh's lap. Is that okay?
Wait, where am I? I just passed out from excitement. Mom?
Avoid the bumpy roads if you can.
Yes.
All right, Randy, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
And we'll be right back here shortly with more with Janel Klein here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, Minnesota. CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.
Introducing Rich Valdez, America at Night, the podcast.
Welcome to the conversation, familia.
A perfect blend of news and entertainment, interviews and insights.
Eye-opening, nothing very surprising, but definitely eye-opening.
America's nighttime town hall whenever you want.
What else could it possibly mean?
Rich Valdez, America at Night.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes of it.
Follow the podcast wherever you listen. KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, Janel Klein has been kind enough to swing by and plop her behind into a chair she brought in herself from a fourth grade classroom.
That is a tiny, tiny chair.
Normally we have these kind of cool-looking, propped-up, radio chairs. They're tall. Janel just said, you know what? I want to have my ass cheeks just 2 inches from the ground and see if you can snake a microphone over here. I want to be comfortable. Are you comfortable?
I am.
You said being shoved down towards the ground was more comfortable.
It is.
Good.
So, I mean, usually you like to look at Wapple and vice versa. Can you see him from your vantage
see him.
You still can.
Wait, you can? I can't see you at all.
I can see your little mug.
Can someone take video of Janel looking so childlike? And can we put a video of you on our website of you sitting in the...
Or at least a picture? Is that okay?
It's just so odd.
I mean, I just, for a few minutes, I can be the shortest person in the room.
You would like that, I bet.
Yeah,
I bet that doesn't happen to you very often.
No, never.
Yeah, because, again,
Although Dana's taller than you, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You look like the most mature third grader in town. All right, when it comes to school is back in, Janel. Summer, just like Triple H's days of being number one around here, are over, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's time to go back to school. Kids are back in school. When it comes to our school days, we got a mix of good and bad kids here on the radio show. This is just my personal opinion, thinking back to our school days. Cubby and Janel, pretty good kids. Pretty good. Cubby never missed a day of school.
That's impressive.
I can't believe.
Janel, I know you
some may
effed
call
up.
us nerds, Janel.
Yeah.
Not necessarily good kids.
I know you effed around a little bit and skipped some class and had some laughs, but you probably got impeccable grades.
I did fine, but I did skip a lot of school.
I'd put Dana in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you had some fun, but weren't your parents teachers?
My dad was a teacher at my high school.
Yeah, so
was that embarrassing?
No, not at all.
Oh, I think I would have been mortified.
What did he teach?
With your dad.
Social studies.
Did you take his class?
I didn't, but a lot of my friends did.
Yeah.
Including my girlfriend senior year. That was kind of weird.
I had a couple of buddies whose parents were teachers, and again, you know, I could almost read it on their face. They wanted to raise more hell, but they couldn't. Their friggin' dad and mom are right down the hall. You know, they know all the teachers personally from house parties and
I did have a smart-ass response once where I was screwing around in class, nothing major, and the teacher kind of like warned me by saying, you know, you better watch it, Dana. Your dad is just 2 classrooms down. And I said, ma'am, my dad graduated high school a long time ago.
There you go. And then I'd categorize Wapple and Ashley and myself as not good.
I was good up until about 8th grade.
I was fine. I just smoked weed.
Did you get good grades?
Yeah,
Yes.
decent.
You guys both got decent to good grades.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess I'm the bottom of the barrel.
Well, I knew that if I was doing everything else wrong and disappointing my parents in like every other aspect, that I at least had to get good grades.
On paper, I legitimately failed 9th and 12th grade. But they moved me on. You hear stories about teachers or whoever's in charge, the administrators, whatever, just wanting just to move kids out of there, just get them out of there. I guess I might be an example of that.
No kid left behind.
I could never be a teacher, not only because of my lack of overall education, but because I'd likely choke a parent out or a child. I might show up drunk. Tough job. I don't have the patience.
I could see you being a teacher, Janelle.
I always wanted to be a teacher. I did.
I could see it.
Yeah. But like Nick said, it is the hardest job. I've volunteered before in schools, and I don't know how they do it. It's really, really hard. Way harder than I think when we were growing up.
Most definitely.
To bring us back, or bring us fully back into school mode, what I have here for you are teachers talking about the craziest reasons they had to send students to the office.
I love these.
I got sent to the office by damn quite a few times. Nothing this dramatic as far as I can remember. Teachers talking about the craziest reasons they had to send a student to the office. And sure as hell, you're welcome to chime in on something you saw when you were a school kid. 13-year-old kid selling cocaine.
Whoa.
Start young, I guess. Don't knock the hustle.
Guess.
13-year-old kid selling cocaine.
Who's he selling it to? Other 13-year-olds?
Well, I would imagine so.
What?
I was told from someone I know, their high school, cocaine was huge. I was shocked. I never saw
cocaine.
anything like that going to high school. It was just in movies and television.
It was definitely around when I was in high school, but it wasn't like the main drug.
No, hell no. Drinking was where it's at. But I saw some booger sugar when I was in high school, and I wanted nothing to do with it. Scared the hell out of me. This kid was selling cocaine, 13 years old. Cops were involved, had to go to court. That's a pretty good one to start with. A kid... I mean, we're going up and down all ages here, so, you know, there could be some cocaine, there could be some this, and then some of these kids are real little. I hope that this kid was little. A kid ate the dead class fish.
That was a dare.
That was totally a dare.
That doesn't surprise me.
They had a class fish, and a kid upped and ate it. This teacher says it was Monday, so it might have been dead all weekend.
Oof. Right.
Oh my God.
We took her smooth down.
Yuck.
Oh, this is something here. One kid got sent to the office for getting into a fist fight with his mother outside the classroom door. Let me tell you this right now. I'm not afraid to get in a fist fight with my mother.
Yeah, I could take my mom.
I could kick my mother's ass. But how dramatic and beautiful would that be if you're sitting in class, you look out the door, and there's one of your classmates in a fist fight with their mama? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
I don't think I'd like to see that.
One of my neighbors was sent to the office because him and another buddy shot my other neighbor and myself with paintball guns before school.
Oh.
So we went to we went to school and we had, paintballs all over ourselves and just paint everywhere. And one of the teachers was like, "What happened to you guys?" We had to tell him.
In the first 3 days of my son's new school, he just started riding the bus this year. I've told the guys, so this is the first time we've lived someplace where the bus will pick him up, right?
Yeah.
In the first 3 days, 2 fights on the bus already.
Oh, no.
That bus is dangerous.
Is he scared?
No, luckily he hasn't been the target of anything like this.
You find him in the garage just hitting a punching bag.
What if it turns out he's the aggressor?
Oh my God. He's bullying kids.
You try to teach him a lesson. You're like, hey, this is not how we do things. Then he just kicks your ass too.
Shut up, nerd.
I'm still celebrating this idea of being, let's just say I'm a 16-year-old kid. I'm sitting in class and one of my buddies is approaching the classroom with his mother and they start trading hands like it's a friggin' UFC event. That would be incredible. What the hell's the matter with this crowd?
I don't know. I don't think you should beat your mom up, I guess. Or any mom.
Well, it doesn't say who would. Maybe his mother was winning.
That's a good point.
So they send the kid to the office. What do they do with the mom?
I don't know. Hand her a belt. Championship belt. All right, this is quite dramatic right here as we discuss, or teachers discuss, the craziest reasons they had to send students off to the office. 4th grade kid, new student, a boy, and he kept getting mistaken for a girl. At one point, this little boy jumped up on the top of his desk, pulled out his penis and testicles, and waved them at everyone, yelling, "What the F is this? I'm a boy, I'm a boy."
I could see Dana doing that for no reason.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere.
Nobody ever accused me of being a girl. Or no, maybe because, everyone's kind of like, oh, you have a girl's name, you have a girl's name. Show them! You think this is a girl's vagina?
Yeah, I suppose you have gotten crap for that, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so maybe I should have whipped it out a little bit more often.
Show Janel.
I'd be too embarrassed.
This kid wanted his classmates to know who they were dealing with. What do you call this? Hanging out right here. I'm a boy. This is kind of creepy. This next one, 2nd grade kid, stabbing his hand repeatedly with a pencil.
Oh, boy.
His hand was bloody and gray from the graphite.
Oh, my gosh. No, that's scary.
He never made a sound.
That's effed up.
I'd request for that kid to not be put back into my classroom.
Boy, pencils, man. A lot of people get stabbed by those things in school. Nick and I both are victims.
Yeah, same here, except I did it myself, but I still have the lead in my hand.
Just punishing yourself for something?
No, it was just an accident.
Oh.
Stupid Ashley.
A kid was passing around Xeroxed copies of his hairy ass.
That's pretty funny.
Did that happen at Faribault?
Wait, he must have been a high school kid.
Yeah.
He was Xeroxing his hairy ass and passing them out. He was taping them to people's lockers all over the school.
Have you seen me?
I'm going to try not to lose my cool in front of Janelle here. Josh and I, you know our stance on this. But there was a student sent to the office. According to one teacher, a student was sent to the office for teabagging.
Oh. Yeah, don't do that.
There's nothing funny about it.
Mm-mm.
Not a thing. Sorry, teabagging fans. You're doing it all wrong.
It's only funny in video games.
Right, just on Fortnite.
Here's a teacher that said, having to explain to a parent, this is further information on the teabagging incident. Having to explain to a parent that his son dangled his nuts in the face of another student was mortifying. Especially if this kid's parents are straight-laced folks.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to say to a set of parents, why was my child sent to the office? Teabagging. You might have a set of parents that will go, oh, sure.
Yeah.
Not that they accept the act, but that they know what it is. There's plenty of parents who would say, what the hell is teabagging? And you have to say, well.
I just look up a video.
Oh, don't do that.
A 7th grade male student was bleeding profusely from a botched nipple piercing that he had performed on himself the night before.
You know, that was the thing in maybe 6th grade. People were piercing themselves at school.
Oh, I do remember that, yeah.
That was a big
Just
thing
in class.
middle school. I've pierced some ears.
Yeah, I remember one summer we were in high school where there was always one or two idiots in the middle of the beer party who wanted to race into the bathroom with ice and a needle, and I'm going to pierce my this, pierce my that. I never understood the attraction to that even a little bit. But this kid comes to school the next day. He's bleeding profusely from his nipple, bleeding right through his shirt at school the following day. The teacher said he pulled up his shirt. It looked like 2/3 of his nipple was missing.
Ooh.
All right, a couple more here on reasons kids...
W-Y-E, do men have nipples?
Yes. Why, Janelle? W-Y-E-Y. Here's a teacher that said there was an awful stench in the classroom. Couldn't figure it out for months. Oh, this is when you were a little kid and you have your own desk where you prop up the lid, right?
Yeah.
And you got all your stuff.
Mine was a mess.
That does not surprise me.
Bad smell for months. But they found out that one of the boys in class was making poop balls.
Poop balls?
Poop balls.
Wait.
He was rolling up his poop into balls and putting them in his desk.
Oh, gosh.
In the world.
Kids.
Look at my desk. Those are my poop balls.
Oh, no, Union Dry. That's, to me, almost more disturbing than the kid stabbing himself with the pencil.
Yes.
Union Drywall Jesus said he's driving his daughter to school right now, and this whole segment is giving her terrible ideas.
The final, we have to take a break. A dude brought a homemade fleshlight to school to show his friends.
Oh, boy. Yeah. I had a friend who would make his own devices, and he'd bring them in and sell them.
Whoa.
He had a lot of talents that he would use for evil, and that was one of them. And you could make requests. Like he'd make that thing personal for you.
Wapple get one with an AEW logo on it or something.
Cubby, you're a dad. What makes you reach for the phone to call a therapist faster when you find out your son is making homemade masturbatory devices or he's making poop balls?
Poop balls.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Write that down, Janelle. We're keeping score on this.
Just in case I have 9 and 1 already dialed.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I hear you. We're getting there. On this wonderful Thursday morning, we have Janel Klein with us here on the Half-Assed Morning Show. We were talking about, with school being back in the mix for the young people, we were talking about, some teachers who discussed some of the reasons they've had to send kids off to the office. Kids effing off, had to send them to see the principal. Got some texts on trouble in the hallways at school and whatnot back in the day. During our sophomore year in '99, says a listener. This is Deep Dickens Jesus.
Pardon me.
My best friends that are twins got into a fist fight with each other at school. They were both expelled.
Oh God.
Wow.
There was zero tolerance at his high school.
I guess so.
Their parents didn't talk to them for weeks. You know, my brother and I fought all the time. I don't think we ever fought on school grounds, and there wasn't a zero tolerance thing back when we were there. So even if we had, we would have stayed. That's pretty harsh.
What were the punishments, though? Like, if you got in a fight, would you get suspended, or what was the punishment?
It was in school or out of school suspension if you got in a fist fight, from my best memory.
Yeah.
There was barely any punishments at our school for that kind of thing.
You'd get
it didn't happen a ton, but
yeah, you get 2 or 3 days in school suspension.
We had Saturday school.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, we did too.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. We had in-school suspension, but we would go to a different building.
Oh, geez, really?
Yeah, it was I actually loved the other place.
What was it, like a Chi-Chi's, or what made it so good?
It was just like, Chi-Chi's. I don't know. It was just cool. It's just you and like a bunch of everybody else that's there is just a bunch of bad kids, and then yeah, it's just like a normal school day, just in a different building.
Well, something different.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Hey, it worked.
Some of those days, just something different. Yeah, things really tightened up after Josh and I got out of high school. I mean, video cameras. I remember hearing, I couldn't believe this. So like around 96 or something, a friend of mine's younger brother was a senior in high school. and he was on the verge of being expelled because of tardiness. I mean, that's how serious they got around. Jesus balls, we were late every single day, and barely a word was said, but things just... And then, of course, the Columbine thing took it to a new level. Some of you had to go through hell. I mean, you couldn't get away with jack squat.
I got like things in the mail and pulled aside in school and had to go to like a weird meeting because of like my tardiness or because I would skip.
What? No way. You're such an on-time person around here. There's no way I believed it back when you were.
I was never late for school. I would just get to school and then I'd skip like fourth hour or whatever because it was like reading and lunch, so it was 2 hours that you could skip. And yeah, they were like, you're not going to be allowed to graduate. And then I kind of called their bluff and then kept missing school and then graduated. So.
It was weird. Like Nick said, it was different. So you'd get in trouble for some weird things, but stuff like fights and everything was more. I know this isn't PC anymore, but at the time they would say, "Boys will be boys," that kind of thing. Knock it off. It was more of a knock it off. But I mentioned before I was, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes late for graduation practice, and I had to repaint a gym. It was weird things like that they got upset about.
Wait. So you go through your whole school year career and you never miss a day of school, and then you're 5 minutes late for graduation practice?
That's right. And I had to write a letter of apology to our principal.
Oh, my God.
Come on.
Janelle, every time he tells me that story, my blood pressure skyrockets.
Yeah.
That is such nonsense.
Graduation practice. I wasn't late for the graduation.
Did you go to Adolf Hitler High School in what's the name of that town again? Berlin, Germany in 1944? That's ridiculous. Why would they put you through that when you were the best student they had in that class?
I thought she was kidding, to be honest. I mean, I was very apologetic. I was embarrassed, especially because I was making out. Can you believe it, Janelle? So that was new to me.
That was the cause?
Yeah.
You were making out with a girl?
With a girl.
Under the bleachers or where?
In the courtyard.
Oh.
Nice. Here's a dude who got, here's a listener who got sent to the office for having sex behind the ice machine in the janitor's closet. Man, I wish someone would have had sex with me at my high school.
Josh, did the girl you made out with get in trouble too?
Boy, I'm so self-centered, I'm not sure. I don't think she did, not like I did.
Well, she wasn't painting alongside you.
No, okay, good point. Yeah, no, she didn't get in trouble.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That you were even looked at funny for being 5 minutes late to graduation when you never missed a day of school.
You guys know what...
what a bunch of douchebags.
You know what second base is?
Sure I do.
Didn't get there. You did not. Never made it that far. It was a strong single, though.
We had a couple kids that got sent to the principal's office because they were doing some hand action in the back of the classroom.
Yeah, a couple of my buddies got that. A couple of my buddies got that treatment.
And there was a room underneath the stage that was just kind of designated as that was the place you'd go to hook up during school.
Forklift driving, cool. Jesus said, back in my day, if we got in a fight, we'd get our ass beat with a paddle by the principal. I think we were just a handful of years too late for that. That never happened. And I went to Catholic school.
What was it? One more time, I'm sorry.
Get his ass beat with a paddle by the principal.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
There was never any physical discdiscipline.
Oh, when I went to school. In grade school, there were beatings.
Well, parents certainly. We'd get it from our parents, but never a teacher.
There were teachers who would knock you around a little bit in grade school. A couple of them had they'd put a grip on your shoulder muscle and you'd collapse into jelly on the ground. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, that would happen. Yeah. And we had a teacher who was more comical, but he would throw erasers at your head if you were talking. But, no paddling or anything like that.
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess I don't remember. There were beatings. There were ass beatings in grade school. I mean, another example of how things change so drastically, and maybe for the better when it comes to discipline in high school. Like I said, my buddy's younger brother was ready to be expelled just because he was late. I thought, what? We had a kid in my high school get in a fight with a teacher. Like nose to nose. They didn't throw hands. But then when a certain principal approached, this kid wrapped a bike chain around his fist and went for the principal to punch him with a bike chain in his fist. He was not expelled.
What? Oh, my God.
He got in a lot of trouble, but he was not expelled. I was standing right there. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Oh, seriously.
I never even thought of something like that. A bike chain.
Here's a guy who got sent to the office in 2nd grade and had detention for 2 days because he said the word crotch.
I got in trouble for saying crap. I remember that. I didn't know it was a bad word.
What?
Oh, crap, he says. Janelle, am I forgetting something? Did you, maybe this is the liquor talking. Did you have a teacher parent?
Yeah, both my parents were in education, but when they first got out of college, they were both teachers.
Ah, that's right. I knew there was something there.
Yeah.
Well, what's next for you, Jungle Jane?
I don't know.
Back from the hurricane.
Yeah, and I forgot I was going to tell you, Nick. This is big news. I actually went to a Wayzata High School football game.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Recently?
Recently.
What the hell for?
No, because I had a friend's son playing, actually at Lakeville South, though. But I didn't know they were playing Wayzata. I should have texted you and said, hey, guess where I am?
I think I still have a buddy or two with a kid on the team.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to have Nick join you, unfortunately. He's been banned for life.
Speaking of all this bad behavior, true story. One year out of high school, we were 1 year out of high school, we decided to cruise the parking lot of a football game, a Wayzata football game at Wayzata High School.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can, pick up some women. And some kid from Elk River popped off, and I got out the car, and we got in a massive fist fight, and I was officially banned from all Wayzata athletics for life. I received a note in the mail from the superintendent of schools and everything. Banned for life from Wayzata athletic functions.
Do you think anyone is around to enforce that if you tried to?
Well, the funny thing is, then, I don't know, 2 years later, I took a job at the high school as the Zamboni driver for the hockey games, and I had forgotten about this until I locked eyes with the principal who made that call 2 years prior to ban me from all, and there I am driving the Zamboni, and I lock eyes with this guy, and I thought to myself, oh, God, what's he going to do? He didn't do anything. We didn't talk. He just walked away. So they didn't take it as seriously as maybe I originally thought.
So you're in the clear.
I am. I continued to drive Zamboni there for 3 years so that no one ever said a word to me, despite the antics between me and this Elk River kid. How stupid. How unbelievable. The kid said something like, yeah, your mama or something, right? But I got to jump out the car and beat his ass, right? Cops coming. They were running away from the car. Just stupid. Unbelievably dumb.
Did I ever tell you I got kicked out of our dorm at Moorhead for being loud during finals week?
Jesus.
Yeah.
What were you doing that was so loud?
We were just kind of messing around, right? Like yelling, I don't know, having some fun, and they kicked me out of the dorm.
What do you mean kicked out? Like you had to leave?
Yeah,
you couldn't live there anymore?
Right.
No.
Ballard Hall, for anybody that went there.
So what did you do? Have to go get an apartment?
Well, you know what I did, Janelle, and this is smart. I had what's called a long-distance relationship at the time. And so I moved back home to go to Normandale. And she moved back home, and we pretty much essentially broke up about 2-3 days after we were back together. So we missed each other so much, we moved home. I got kicked out of the place anyway, so we thought this would be perfect, and that was done. The relationship was over.
You have been wronged in so many friggin' ways.
Well,
it's not like you were beer bonging and smoking geef. You were just a little too loud in conversation in your dorm, and you were thrown out.
I mean, we were loud, right? We're yelling and messing around. But yeah, there was just, we were warned. I mean, they sent out a thing, hey, if you're loud during finals week, you're going to get in some trouble. But they kicked all of us out. Essentially, an entire floor of freshmen were kicked out.
Oh, the whole floor had to
about
go.
Half of us were gone.
That's crazy.
That's silly.
But
silly.
I this one, you know how, Nick, sometimes you've had this moment where you wake up at night with a start and realize maybe a sexual opportunity you missed.
Oh,
right?
God, yes.
It dawns on you, I missed a sign.
Last night.
You had one of those last
night, I arose in bed like a corpse from a damn casket and went, ha! Because I remembered a sexual encounter that passed me by.
Yeah. So I had one, and now knowingly so. And I had a guitar teacher who had told me, just so you know, it's a different world. College is different. People are different. You're going to meet types of people you never knew, and the girls are going to be aggressive. And I thought, well, it doesn't affect me. I've got a girlfriend anyways. And I had a girl ask to take a bath That's never happened to me. That kind of thing doesn't happen to me.
You're up at the dorms.
Yeah.
Those days, a girl asked you to take a bath, and you turned her down. Why? Because you were already...
I had a girlfriend.
Because you had a girlfriend.
Right. And this relationship was built to last. Right. And so I said, I'm sorry. I have a girlfriend. I'm very flattered. And I'm very dirty. I understand I need a bathroom. And you know what she said to me? I don't care. After I told her I had a girlfriend.
Wow.
And then I blacked out. I woke up, and I just said, yeah, I've got this girlfriend.
That's hot stuff. So that still causes you to wake up in the middle of the night at times?
Yeah, I was kind of mad at when we broke up. Like, that's the first thing I thought is I could have took a bath with this lady. And who knows what would have happened.
Oh, we know what would have happened.
Nah, probably wouldn't have happened. But I had that opportunity, and I missed it.
You probably would have been thrown out of the bathtub the way you've been treated. You would have done something very minor and been eliminated from the bathtub.
Were there bathtubs in the dorm at Moorhead State?
Oh, it was all bathtubs. Well, that's what they do at Moorhead State. They make bathtubs.
I don't know that, and maybe it still is, maybe it's not, but ours was all guys, right? So I hadn't been to the girl one, so I don't know. Maybe they must have, I guess.
Missed
Unless it was a bit
opportunities.
and she was going to rob me. Wait a minute, there's no bathtub. Why are there 8 guys here with crowbars?
You wake up without a kidney.
You know what? Maybe that long distance relationship saved my life. I've been looking at it wrong.
We got to pull the plug, y'all. Thanks for everything, Janel Klein.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
So good to see you.
You guys, too.
Sorry you had to be here for some of that. Congratulations to All Sack, No Shaft Jesus today as he marks 45 days sober.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Happy belated birthday to Pumpin' Munch Jesus. Ashley.
Yep, sorry, I forgot that I had a birthday shout out. Sorry, Jeremy. Shout out to Jeremy, aka Doughboy. Happy birthday, man.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.